Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on in. Welcome to the Sunday night show. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. Let me know where you're checking in from. Come on in, hit that like button. Hit that like button as you come on in. I got a few things I want to talk about tonight. I wasn't going to do it, but I got to get some stuff off my chest. I got to get it off my chest. Or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just keep going the way I've been going and just keep going the way I've been. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep going the way I've been going. So come on in, hit that like button. Let me know where you checking in from. Let me know where you checking in from. Tonight I wanna talk about and this is something I talked about before, early adoption. And I know I talked about early adoption, but I want to talk a little bit about timing, why timing in business is very important, and how timing, in certain situations, could make you or break you in business. I know timing for me, when I first got started with the moving, that was the best time. You know what I'm saying? That was the best time. And unbeknownst to me at that time, I didn't know it. I just thought that was the way things always were. Like, I didn't know I was entering into that industry at the beginning in the midst of a housing market crash. So, but come on, we're gonna talk a little bit about business timing tonight, and I'm gonna keep it real brief and swift. I'm not gonna be here. I don't even want to be here 2 hours tonight. I want to talk about the channel, um, the direction that the channel is headed, a little bit about the timing in business. I want to tell a little story. Then I answer a few questions, and then I'll get out of here. Shameless plug. Tomorrow night we got QB coming in on the channel, so we're gonna be talking to QB, and we're gonna do something like this, often. We're gonna try to get guest hosts to come on. Since the I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna keep it all the way. I'm gonna keep it all the way one. I'm gonna keep it all the way 1,000 with you. I know I said before um, that once Axel came off his tirade, then he could come back. But nah, man, I'm straight. I'm straight. I'm straight. It's to the point now where the people he going after is emailing me, and I separated myself from him, and I'm saying this publicly because I see people steady asking, "Where's Axel?" I was just on Kirk's last. Somebody in the comment asked, "Where's Axel?" I'm just gonna keep it funky with you. Like I said before, like when he got finished doing all that stuff he was doing, he could come back, but I'm straight. Even if he finished, I'm straight. So the Wiseman just gonna be me and Kirk. We're gonna have guest hosts, because it's to the point now. I got people emailing me. I got the CEOs of companies emailing me. You know what I'm saying? The CEOs of these companies are emailing me. One emailed me the other day while I was on my live. So clearly they was watching the live, and he sent me along. It was a nice email. You know what I'm saying? But I separated myself, and the that podcast, which includes Kirk, a way to prevent this stuff, because once again I forecasted some stuff and I was right. Even with me separating from him, we're still, I wouldn't say getting backlash, but we're getting contacted by people that he's going after. And some of the stuff that he's talking about, to me, it don't hold merit. It don't hold merit. So I don't want no parts of that. I don't want no parts of that. It's goofy. You see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it's a waste of time, and it's a waste of energy. And I don't have time to deal with goofball stuff like that. So, and I said that to him while he was on the live. So it ain't like I'm talking because y'all saw I said it. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm really standing on top of what I said, because what I said was going to happen is happening. But I can't do stuff with people that, nah, man, that to me, that's not cool. I mind my business. I don't worry about other people's business. You see what I'm saying? So It is what it is, and I feel all that is for nothing. To be honest with you, it's just for nothing. You see what I'm saying? So everything I said was going to happen is happening. You know what I'm saying? Even after I pulled us away from that shit. So he's not coming back. Don't ask me. You can. There's your answer for everybody that wants to know. I'm not letting him. I don't want him back. You know, I don't want him back. If he's watching, I'm sorry, but your bullshit is starting to come in my emails. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have nothing to do with that. You know, I appreciate, those companies that are emailing me to pretty much warn me about you, but I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't want anything to do with that. Kirk doesn't have anything to do with that. We're peaceful over here. We don't go after companies that, for whatever reason, that's just not what we do. We're not the police. We don't call the feds. We don't call the IRS. We don't do that. You see what I'm saying? This is not what we do over here. We talk about trucking, box trucking, right? Cargo vans, and we do our podcast on Monday. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. That's it. So that's the actual situation. He's not coming back. I don't want no parts of that. All right. So come on in. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. Hit that like button. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. Now that we got that out the way, I wanted to make sure I got that out the way at the beginning of the show. So people that, are here that may not stay to the end, or people that watch the replay later, that may not stay to the end, can get that information out the way so you can stop asking. All right. Now, let me see where everybody checking in from. Shout out to Nick in the building. Who else we got in the building? Daniel is in the building. Hold on, let me get my banner out the way. Let's hear it, Mark. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, man. That's the only thing I can do. And what I'm starting to realize is that people don't like the truth. Kirk said it, when we did that podcast a week or two ago, that honesty can be a disadvantage. It's definitely a disadvantage. And I see that the more critical it gets, people want to stray away from the actual truth and start to believe what they want to believe in, and things that hold no merit. You know what I'm saying? Things got to have merit. And when people say things, you got to be able to cite your source. You can't say stuff and pull stuff out of thin air and don't have grounds or don't have a source. You got to be able to cite your source. It's just like when you're in school and you're doing a paper, right? And this may be before some people's time. I don't know if they still do this in school. You know what I'm saying? They should do it, because plagiarism should be damn near a crime. But if you're doing a paper, right, and you pull something from somewhere in the footnotes, you have to cite where you got that information from. It's called citing your source. You can't pull shit when you're out of thin air and make it law. You know what I'm saying? It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So I know I did a little rant the other day on Thursday night about damn, what was my rant about? It was about, because I had to box trucker versus business person. That was my part 2. Because I did one a few months ago, but this one was kind of real. Like, man, I don't want to say I was angry. I was upset, and I'm still upset. After that, I think a lot of people kind of got upset, which is what I intended to do, because I wanted to slow down the people that were really wasting my time, and I wanted to slow down a lot of traffic in my DM and my Facebook and wherever people can message me at. I wanted to slow that traffic down and kind of get rid of like the waste of time stuff, so that people who really needed information, solid strategical information, could get to me. I don't listen, if you can Google something, Google it. You know what I'm saying? Do the research. I'm not, some people are just lazy to the point they don't even want to go look something up. They rather just hear it out somebody's mouth. Like, you're not gonna make it. I said something on Curse last. Somebody said, well, man, you told people to quit. Hell yeah, I'm gonna tell you to quit. Give up. Give up. If you don't have a business plan, if you don't do the proper due diligence before you come into business and you're out here struggling, man, I don't care nothing about. Everybody's gonna work hard, but if you don't have a plan, you're not gonna make it. I don't care how hard you work. I'm telling you to give up, and I'll say it every single goddamn day. Give up. Give your box truck back. Give up. I'm not finna sit up here and sugarcoat nothing so that you can come buy something that I'm not selling no way. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you come into any business, I don't care if you open a coffee shop, you gotta have a plan, a business plan. You gotta have a strategy. You gotta have a marketing analysis. You gotta have a competitive analysis. You gotta have a mission statement. Like, this is business 101. Like, I'm not finna sit up here and play games with people. I had a coaching session today, and this is what kind of tipped me off. I had a coaching session today. It was a 15-minute session. Buddy might be watching. Y'all know how I am. Don't waste my time. I say it all the time. If you can Google something, don't waste my time. I don't want to talk about elementary stuff. Don't book no session asking me what size the cargo van is or what size the box truck is. This is, you can Google this. I don't care if you paid to ask me. Wait, go pay somebody else. You see what I'm saying? If I'm telling you, asking you a question like, man, you got a business plan, buddy, tell me, man, I ain't got no plan on. Well, man, how you gonna know your cost per mile and stuff? Man, I'm just gonna get my van. I'll figure all that stuff out once I get the van. What? Once I get out there working. What? No, this is the last thing you say to me, buddy. I'm gonna get your money back. I don't even want to talk to you. What you mean you don't want to talk to, bro? Because I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to people whose mind ain't right. This ain't a business you can just jump into, right? Willy-nilly with no plan, no direction. What type of person would I be sitting up here talking to somebody when I know what they're doing is wrong, and when I try to correct them, they feel like, well, man, I'm paying you to ask you 2 questions. Bro, but you're going about this all wrong. Let me correct you. Man, I ain't trying. Well, you know what, bro? I'm not that type of guy, dude. I don't need the bread. I tell y'all that all the time. I don't need it. I'll get your little money back. If I needed the bread, I would do mentorships. I would do all this other shit these people doing. Selling courses, $800 courses. You go to my website, I'm giving you my 5 stages to growth away for free. I did that whole course and giving it to you for free. I don't need the bread. So right now, what I'm thinking about doing, I'm just gonna shut down. I'm probably just gonna shut down my website. As far as I'll leave it up there for information, but I don't think I want to do coaching no more, because I'm not getting people that really want to be coached. I don't want to get people a strategy. I don't want no ticky tack ABC. Like, I'm not here for that. I'm never finna pay for something that I can Google. That shit is a waste of my time. It's a waste of my time, bro. Like, there's other people out there that would love to take y'all money for this ticky tack ABC 1, 2, 3 stuff. Go give it to them. I'd rather be doing something else. I watch the playoffs. I don't care nothing about that little 15, 20, 30 minutes to answer some questions that people can Google. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm on right now. I'm not on that. You know what I'm saying? I put out enough information um, as far as my teachings and my live streams to hold people over for a little while. To me right now, to continue to build these presentations and PowerPoints, I don't see a need for that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about things that people just may not know. You know what I'm saying? Like, why timing is important in business. A lot of people may not think time is important. Some people may not even think about it at all. To the point where not think about it to the point where knowing that it's a factor, and timing is a huge factor when it comes to business. And when you're doing your business plan and you're putting together your business plan and you're doing the research, you'll figure all this stuff out. Is it the right time? You know what I'm saying? I gave an example on the other live stream, and I apologize to anybody who didn't watch that live stream from Thursday. After I did it, it wasn't in the character that I normally present live streams from. So what I did was I didn't private it. I just put it on members only. So that's members only content. It's not something that I wanted it to be out. It's like what Kirk be saying. That's like one of them lives where if you was there, you was there. If you wasn't, you wasn't. I wasn't talking about nobody. It wasn't like nothing like that. It was just, I just kind of went hard on people that are in the business, and they what I call box truckers. They're not business people. They running a business like a hustle. You know what I'm saying? And people starting to get upset when I ask them, do they got a business plan? You know what I'm saying? Because now that's the prerequisite. If you want to ask me a question, that's fine. If you come into my DM and you want to ask me a question, that's fine. But the prerequisite now is, do you have a business plan? And how you answer that is going to determine how I'm going to move forward. And if it gets to the point where as I need to see proof that you got a business plan, then so be it. So be it. Because once again, everything that I said from the beginning, I'm still standing on them same principles now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here just to, one, I'm not here to be popular, because clearly I'll say things that piss people off, right? But I'm going to be honest about it. Two, if I see you going about something the wrong way, I'm going to try to correct you, right? Whether you like it or not. And if you don't want to get corrected, then I just don't want to talk to you. And it's not a my way is the right way or the highway type of thing. But if you're clearly going down the wrong path and you're coming to me for some type of advice because of my tenure, and I'm telling you, no, you need to do this, and you want to sit up here and go back and forth with me, then man, why are you coming to me? Just go fail. And I said it. And people don't like me saying it, but man, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So just give up. Man, Mark, you shouldn't say give up. Man, give up. Give up. If you're not entering into the space the correct way by doing the proper due diligence, if you're going to struggle in the business because of the economy, because of whatever the situation may be, right, that's causing you to struggle in business, and you go back, you can't say it was due to you having a lack of a business plan. You want to cross your T's and dot all your I's, right? You don't want to have to go back and build a whole plan once you've already started the business, because you should have built the plan initially. There's no reason I should be doing consultations with people who go out, get everything going, and then realize they're in a low density market, and what they thought that they were going to do once they purchased their vehicle, got their DOT, got everything up and running, what they thought they were going to do, they realize now they can't do it because it's not available in their market. Guess what? If they would have did their business plan and did their market analysis, they would have known that it wasn't in their market before they went out and spent all this money for something now. And now they're forced to do something that they don't want to do, which is OTR, because you can do that from everywhere, but they don't want to do that. So now you come crying at me. What do you want me to do? The only thing I'm going to do is like, did you do your business plan? No. Well, then I'm going to tell you, if you would have did your business plan, you would have known that you're in a low density area and you can't do this. It's nothing available in your area for that. It's not even an Amazon in your area. Well, Mark, how do I get my Amazon packages when? Because they use UPS. UPS delivers all your Amazon stuff, right? UPS of the mail. Yeah. You ain't never seen an Amazon truck come to your door, have you? Nope. Why? Because you live in a real low density area. You live somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. So if you know you live in the middle of nowhere, what on God's green earth did you think that you was going to be able to start a final mile business? If Amazon is not even in your market, what makes you think T-Force is, or Capstone, or UST, or this? Those companies deliver to your area, but they pay a premium rate to send a crew to come deliver into those markets. Amazon delivers in your area, but they outsource to the United States Postal Service and to UPS. I had an argument last year with somebody on a live stream that said UPS needed Amazon, and my argument was no, Amazon needed UPS. And this goes back to what I say earlier, I don't say shit out my ass. I can prove everything I say. When a person tells me that UPS is dependent on Amazon, I say no, Amazon needs UPS. You know what my proof is? All those runs, the people that run overnight for Amazon and they drop it off at the Postal Service, you need the United States Postal Service to run those loads. And guess what? Most of those Postal Service be way out in the boondocks and the sticks. It's rare that you run a post office load into a high dense area. Why? Because Amazon covers the high density areas. Those post office runs be way out in the middle of nowhere because they don't cover those areas. They'll send a middle mile overnight box truck out there to drop off a bunch of pallets, and then the next day or two, the Postal Service will sort those pieces that are in all those pallets, and then they'll deliver them the final mile. So when I have to go back and forth, well, how does UPS or the Postal Service need Amazon when Amazon is clearly using their services? And people want to argue me because everybody want to be right. But what's right is what makes sense. I'm still going back and forth with supply and demand. And this is something you can Google. Like, I don't understand. Like, owner operators don't control supply and control the spot market. Supply and demand and volume does. If owner operators, check this out. If owner operators control the spot market, why y'all let the spot market go down? Why y'all didn't keep the rates? Can some owner operator tell me why y'all didn't keep the rates high like when they was during the pandemic? Since y'all can control them, why y'all just didn't keep the rates high? When the volume was up, why y'all didn't keep the rates high? Why y'all didn't keep the rates high? Why y'all lower the rates on y'all self? If y'all control the rates, if owner operators control the rates, why don't y'all keep the rates high? Why y'all lower them? Why y'all do that to y'all self? Listen to how that sound. Listen to how that sound. Or when volume was extremely high, right? Rates were extremely unprecedentedly high. When volume went down, rates went down. Like the stock market. When supply is high in the stock market, the cost of the stock goes down. When demand is high in the stock market, the price of the stock goes up. The stock market ain't done but buying and selling. When a person sells a stock, somebody is buying it, and vice versa. Right? So when there's a demand for a particular stock, let's talk about GameStop. When GameStop was running, because people on Reddit and all those forums were pumping it back in 2020, 2021, it kept going. It went from a penny stock, it was like $2 or $3. It ran all the way up to $400, damn near $80, damn near $500 because everybody was pumping it. Let's talk about Dogecoin. That's a crypto, but same concept. Elon Musk got behind it. Everybody got into the forums and started pumping it. Let's talk about Shiba Inu, another crypto, but same concept. Everybody started pumping it and ran up. I made a lot of money off of Shiba. And that's a shit, we call that a shit coin. All right? People get behind it. It increases the volume, it increases the rate. If a stock has a high supply, that means nobody's buying it and there's a bunch of shares available, so the price goes down. Like, I don't know how many ways I got to explain this to people, but people still want to believe that people control the rate. So here's the thing. If I control a rate, I'm going to make the rate high. I control what I charge in moving. I don't control what a final mile company pays, right? Because I'm not in position, right? I'm not in position to, one, sit in front of IKEA, sit in front of Best Buy, sit in front of Lowe's, sit in front of Home Depot. Why? Because it's just Mark. Mark doesn't have a national footprint to get a national contract. I can't promise Home Depot I can cover them on a regional or national scale. In order to do that, right, and to be successful at it, one, Mark either has to have a bunch of trucks in a bunch of different states with a bunch of drivers and a bunch of helpers, or two, Mark has to have a bunch of independent contractors. And the real estate, as far as a warehousing, right, to accommodate the fulfillment. So when people come to me, well, man, so and so said I can get a contract with Lowe's. No, you can't. No, you can't. Well, man, so and so said, why do you think Lowe's is going to deal with you and only you? You think they're going to deal with you and only you times thousands across the country? You think they got time to deal with thousands of you, you single owner operator, you? Does that make sense? So now you can see why I'm kind of upset, and not even upset, just kind of fed up of trying to explain this over and over to people, because people, like, man, it is what it is, man. It is what it is, man. I just don't get it, man. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my little speeches. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do our Monday night show. Kirk said he's not doing box truck talk. He said he's gonna do 2 more box truck Sunday night shows. He said he's done. He's gonna start talking about racism and immigrants and stuff. He said he said he don't even want to deal with it. Somebody was over there earlier talking about, man, he wasn't even talking about box trucking pretty much on his show earlier tonight. He said he's done after 2 more shows of talking box trucking. I'm gonna keep talking it, but I'm just gonna go with whatever the trend is. If the trend shows me the trend wants to learn, then I'll put together a PowerPoint presentation and I'll teach. If the trend says we on some BS right now, then I'll talk about why timing is important. And then we'll do the Monday night show. We'll have the guest host come every now and again, and then that'll be it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna go off the energy of the people. There's no reason for me. Sunday was my kicking it day. Sunday I'll go kick it. You see what I'm saying? But I ain't gave up my Sundays for damn near almost a year now to do this. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It is what it is. Truth, Joe Beatlecone said, I live in dead center of 2 big cities, Birmingham and Montgomery, so I already know I'm not really going to be doing final mile of my time. The mindset needs to change for a lot of people. Business always first before anything doing business. Yeah, you got to have a business mindset, but I think a lot of people have a hustling mindset, and a lot of people don't know how to adapt from, their past into their current. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be able to turn that switch. You have to be able to turn that switch, because what's going to happen, you can sit up here and go back and forth with me all you want online or in coaching sessions. But what's going to happen, you're going to get in the room with other people. And it's like when it's our people, it's like we don't take what our people say as face value. And I know that from dealing with my own people. But if a certain group of people say it, then it's just law. That's what be killing me. Why you can't have educated black people out here and what they say be law, and take them for what they saying is face value? So 5 years of college for business, even though a lot of that stuff is, I don't remember. Basically, what I'm doing when I do these PowerPoint presentations, basically it's just whatever, right? It's just whatever. Or my 14 years of experience, it just don't holds no merit, basically, right? It holds no merit. Like I don't know. So everything that I said was going to happen, that happened, that just don't count for nothing either. Then no. That don't count for nothing. Even with me with this Axel situation, I said, man, this gonna come back. There's gonna be some backlash from it. I don't want nothing to do with it. I separated myself and still getting backlash from it, because I seen it coming. So yes, I'm not finna be Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. What Kirk called me, the diplomat, no more. Listen, it is what it is. I'm gonna still tell you the truth, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's upsetting me now that people are half-assing this shit. Like, this is half-assing. Like, you're not doing the work. If you're not doing the work, you're not going to get nothing out of it. Listen, doing the work is going to determine a person who comes in and survives with one box truck and a person who comes in with one box truck and is able to create other avenues of making money from that one box truck, whether it be scaling your business, making money to invest into other businesses. All right, that's going to be the difference. You're going to have a person who's going to come in with their box truck and they're going to run their box truck to their box truck run them. They just running their box truck, and the money coming in and is paying their bills, and they working to go make more money to pay their bills, and working them because they had no plan. They just getting by. That's a box trucker. The business person knows how to come in because they have a plan, they have a strategy, they've done all the research that they need to do, right? And they're going to come in with that truck, and then they're either going to get successful, right? Because they had a plan, then they're going to either duplicate that, right? Which is scaling. And then let's say they may say, I'm going to buy my first investment property, or you know what, I'm going to open a coffee shop. Here's this area is deprived. I think this is an up and coming area. There's a lot of young urban professionals in this area. There's no coffee shop. This would be a great place where people can come drink coffee and work from home, from the coffee shop. They can do coffee dates. They can do meetings, Zoom meetings here. That's going to be the difference from a person who's comes in that runs their box truck for 30 years, right? Because they have no plan. They're just running their box truck because they're a box trucker, versus a person who comes in and they scale their business. They get property. They open other businesses to the point where now they have multiple streams of money coming in. And now, like I said in that short, you work hard from the beginning, you build up, and then you get greater later. You can sit back and be like, damn, look what I did. Look what I built. That's a business person. And that's all I be trying to say. That's all I be trying to say. So yes, I'm going to continue to call people out and say you're a box trucker, or you're going to fail, or give up. Because if you're not doing it the correct way, then you might as well just save yourself. Just save yourself. Just spare yourself. Spare yourself the agony. Spare yourself the disappointment. Spare yourself the stress. You want to make things stress? You want to make life stress-free? Do the proper work. Do the proper work and then do the hard work. You'll see the results. You can work as hard as you want. But if you're working hard with no plan, it's just like climbing. Just like climbing up a dirt. And that each time you dig your hands in, the dirt trickle down and you slide down a little because you don't have nothing to grab on. You don't have no foundation. Your foundation is your plan. So you run it with no foundation. So you're never going to get nowhere. Business timing. Timing can help a business succeed a lot quicker than, let's say, a person who comes in with a plan the correct way and goes about things the correct way and have to build. I came into the industry during a housing market crash. Didn't know it was a housing market crash at the time. It wasn't something that I was keeping up with at that time. I was in God's favor, right? So the moment I came in, it was instantly go. Similar to how people who came in during the pandemic, as far as like the box truck and things of that nature. But the difference is I came in more humbly, grassroots, bootstrap. Started with a truck, my two hands, my back, and a drunk, right? Craigslist, right? So I started from humble beginnings, but because it was a housing market crash that was going on, a lot of people were losing their homes. And because people were losing their homes, it caused for a lot of people requesting moves. And because people were losing their homes, a lot of people didn't have the money to pay traditional movers. So they looked for what were considered the rogue movers, which I was one of them when I entered into the space, which most people that are into that space become. They start small. They started on Craigslist back in the day. Nowadays, your rogue movers. Rogue movers is just like unlicensed movers, people that are, hustling to make money. Now the rogue movers are on the apps, your Thumbtack, your TaskRabbit, Angie's Leads, things like that. Right. Kirk was talking about immigrants on his show. You have a lot of immigrants that are in the space now, and they're undercutting a lot of prices. So I came in at that time, and it was good timing because people were losing their homes, and the way I entered, um, very at a low price point, right? Because I was considered unlicensed. I was just hustling off Craigslist. It was right up the alley of the majority of the consumers because they didn't have the money to pay a traditional two men in a truck back then because they just lost everything. So when I say my phone wouldn't stop ringing, it would not stop ringing. And I just thought, similar to a lot of people that came into the box truck space during the pandemic, that at that time, that's just the way that industry was. I didn't even know it was a seasonal business. So that summer I ran all day. I'm out 6, 7 in the morning. Sometimes I wouldn't come back to 12, 1 o'clock the next morning. All right. And back up at 6, 7 again. All right. And then October hit and things slowed down. And I'm like, wow, it's slow. And then I started to do my research and realized that it was a seasonal business. And I also realized that we were in a housing market crash. You know what I'm saying? And people were losing their homes. I realized that even though '08 is when it happened, it takes a little while for a person to actually lose their home due to foreclosure. There's a process, 8, 9 months before they can even, I believe, start the process of actually kicking you out, right? So a lot of people weren't getting kicked out until like '09, 2010, 2011. And that's when I started, 2010. So timing was perfect for me because I got 2010, I got 2011, I got 2012, I got 2013. The market didn't start to recover until 2014, 2015. Trump came in 2016. That's when I saw the shift. By this point, I'm licensed, right? I got the final mile company now. I got the moving company now. So I see the trend. It went from us moving people out of nice places into crummy places, or moving people out of nice places back to their parents' homes. I had customers that lost, I had a lady that lost her condo, West Loop, downtown Chicago, penthouse apartment. We moved her from the penthouse. She lost that condo from the penthouse. We moved her to a fourth floor walk up on top of a corner store. Some people call it a bodega. And when we brought the last item in, she just broke down in my arms crying. I didn't know why this lady was crying, but she was just like, "Man, you saw where I just came from. Look at this. I lost everything in this crash. I lost everything. A penthouse, West Loop downtown, to a 4-story walk up on top of a corner store in an area now that's gentrified. But at that time in 2010, the gentrification was just beginning. It was predominantly Hispanic. This was a Caucasian lady. This area was predominantly Hispanic, and it was gang infested. A lot of Latin Kings, Maniac Latin Disciples, Satan Disciples. A lot of Hispanic gangs were in there, right? And this lady broke down and started crying. But a lot of people's, losses at that time were mine and a lot of other people's gains, right? Because we were able to take advantage of what was considered a housing market crash, but the businesses that were making money during that time, because it was good timing, were moving companies and storage facilities. This is where you saw the boom of the storage facilities. I'd never seen so many storage facilities in my life until that housing market correction. They were building storage facilities like 40 going north, because that's where the most of the stuff was going. It was going to nice apartments to crummy apartments, nice places to parents' houses, or nice places to storage facilities. Because most of the people that did move back to their parents put their stuff in storage, and then they moved into the parent, unless the parent had a garage. I remember doing a lot of moving the people out and moving their stuff into the parents' garage or moving the stuff into the parents' basement. But majority of those moves during those times were moving people out, moving their stuff to storage, and then they went back and took over their old bedroom that they grew up in. So it was good timing. All right. Now let's fast forward, and let's say even for that industry, because I don't want to lose my train of thought. I got to 2016, 2016, 2015, 2014. Let's say 2015, 2016. You start to see that housing market start to come back around, right? So we were moving people now out of storage back into luxury condos, back into luxury apartments, or back into their home, or back into new homes, right? The market had corrected itself. The economy was back thriving again, right? By me being in the industry at that point, 6-7 years, I saw the trend. I saw the trend of moving people from luxury to not luxury. Now I'm seeing the trend of me moving people out of their parents' house to luxury, out of their apartment to homeowner, out of storage to apartment. People's stuff been in storage so long it had dust on it. People tell me it's been here 3-4 years. My stuff been here 3-4. You guys moved us here in 2011. It's 2016. Now let's talk about this box truck bubble. Was entering into the space during 2020, 2021, was it good timing? I think it was good timing and it was bad timing, right? You can't deny the fact that it was not good timing because of the rates, right? Those were unprecedented rates. You can't deny that. So yes, as far as the rates, it was great timing. Now, it was bad timing because unfortunately, a lot of people that entered into the space during that time were ignorant. I'm not sugarcoating nothing no more. I really wasn't sugarcoating it before, but Kirk says I'm a diplomat, but now I'm upset. I'm just an upset diplomat right now, I guess. So we're going to keep it funky. And here's the thing. It's nothing wrong with being guilty of it. You just have to learn from your mistakes. Doesn't mean challenge a person because you may feel a certain type of way. It is what it is. The only thing this is going to do is help you become a better business person or help you become a business person. And I keep reiterating the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I haven't changed my position. Even when I was getting challenged last year on very controversial, you should say, lack for a better word, things, I didn't waver, I didn't fold, I still held my position. And when the time came, I was right. I'm holding my position on this. I want people to become better business people. I want people to become business men and business women. So it was a good time and it was a bad time. It was a bad time because people were ignorant. They didn't do the due diligence. They didn't do the knowledge. They had money. They spent it. They thought that the current rates at that particular time was just what it was. And that was far from the truth. They thought that box trucks at what they purchased them for was just what they cost. And that was not true. Rental trucks, the rates that people were paying, they thought that that's just what it was. And that was not correct either. But the point that I'm trying to make was, guess what? Those rates weren't going to stay that way forever. So now you have a decision. Smart person who entered, due diligence, understood that, look, my research is showing that, this isn't something with inflation or something, and these rates are inflated due to the high volume, due to, the money that's being put into the economy to infuse the economy and stimulate the economy, right? For people can buy stuff. That money was given to stimulate. People spent the money, right? They did what the money was given them to do. If people weren't giving that money, a lot of that shit people were buying wouldn't have been buying. And guess what? The volume wouldn't have been what it was to drive the rates up. The volume went sky high. If you go look at a 20-year chart, you're going to see the chart go like this. And then when it gets to 2020, halfway through 2020, 2021, the chart goes like that. And then obviously as of recently, you see the chart go down like that. So now you got unprecedented, look at the chart, unprecedented volume. Now go look at a chart for rates. And see, this is how I have to keep going the same stuff, but people want to challenge me. You go look at a rate chart. You're going to see that same little, it's like a fish swimming, wavering. Then when you get 2020, about June, July, I actually got the chart. I could pull it. I got to look for it. It might be in my old computer. You see the spot market rates go up. Boom. And then guess what? Recently, last year, latter part of last year, halfway through last year, you start to see them go down. And they still been going down. So now, let's take the volume chart and let's take the spot market chart and let's parallel the two. And let's look at the comparisons. So it was a good timing because of the rates, but it was a bad timing on what was about to happen. A lot of people weren't going to be able to sustain what was coming because they lacked the knowledge. They were ignorant to the fact. Is now a good time or is now a bad time? This is something that I also had a conversation about earlier. And that all depends on the individual. That all depends on the individual. If you're an individual who enters into this space right now, right, with inflated costs, right? If you can't find a way to maneuver around the inflated cost of entry into the space, insurance, truck is going to be the major thing I'm really talking about, right? Whether you're buying it or you're renting it, and other things that you need to get going, right? You're going to have a hard time trying to maneuver at the current rates. Now, let's say, I use this example. Let's say on Kirkstown, let's say I want to be philanthropic. I want to give away a truck. Just give it away. All right. Now you got the person who enters in with an excessive overhead, right? And is going to try to operate the middle mile, right, on the current rates. Now, prior to the pandemic, if you entered in, right, with normality or some sense of normality prior to the pandemic, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I think what you guys are seeing now is normal. I think this is a sense of normality in comparison to what you saw during the pandemic. And to me, I wouldn't consider it to the new normal, but I think to people who have entered the space within the past 2 years, I think this would be considered your new normal. Shout out to Call Me Cooley in the building. Shout out to Rod Bucks for the $9.99 super chat. This would be your new normal. This would be your new normal, right? Because you entered into this industry with inflated costs and you're seeing something now that is totally different than when you entered the space. Thus, people use the words trash. Trash, 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 trash. Is it really trash though? Or is it just the fact that you have excessive overhead? So whose fault is it really? If you want to open a coffee shop and you see a place for lease, right? It's a corner, 4 corners, and it's a Starbucks on one corner, and the other 2 corners have 2 places for lease at a let's say a great rate. It's a Starbucks on this corner, and you want to open a coffee shop. Would you go rent one of those places across the street from Starbucks, you've never been in the coffee business before, right? You've never been in the coffee business before, so you're learning. Would you go put a coffee shop right directly across the street from a Starbucks? To me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. If you do your business plan and you do your research, it probably wouldn't make sense to put that. You probably want to go find an area that's deprived of a coffee, especially if you're initially trying to start this business from scratch, right? And you don't have a superior product yet. Your name isn't out there. You're not proven. Now, if you have a proven business model, right? If you have a proven business model, you may be able to go toe to toe. You may be able to get some of their foot traffic. A lot of people, when 2020 and 2021 hit, they got money. They got money. They wanted to spend it. They wanted to start a business, but they had no proven business model. And now those same people, and here's where I'm using this coffee analogy from. Now that times have changed and volumes are different, they're lower, and rates are lower. See, when rates were high and volume was high, everybody was good. There was no competition. That's the point that I'm trying to make. There was no competition. It was plenty enough volume, and the rates was just great. But now rates ain't so great, and there's less volume, and it's a big dog that's been in this game for a little while prior to the pandemic, or a long while. Trucks is paid for. They're not playing the game the way that you're playing the game. They got the control of that corner. They holding that corner down. They holding that corner down. They holding that corner down. Because they already had a proven model before the pandemic. When the pandemic came and the rates went up, that was just a bonus to them. Now it's back to normal. They was already running at these rates prior to the pandemic. The difference now is they trucks is already paid for. They were running at these rates before the pandemic, paying a note and surviving. Pandemic came, they took that extra money, all those loads, man, it was truck. I read a story on an owner operator that made $500,000 during the pandemic. A trucker that was already running way prior to the pandemic. When the pandemic came and the rates went up, made $500,000. That's how much money he made during the pandemic because the rates were so high. So when people say the rates are trash, man, stop taking cheap loads and this, that, and that. For one, people taking cheap loads don't control the spot market. Supply and demand does. Supply, demand, volume, right? But guess what? The rate that you can't afford to take, somebody else may be able to afford to take it. And that whole camaraderie thing that we was talking about early on the other channel, that's over with. Those ethics in this industry are done. Those ethics are over with. Like the guy said on Kurt's channel, people running off desperation. You got a lot of people running off desperation. What can you blame for that? You can blame the pandemic for that. The pandemic shifted the mindset of a lot of different industries. The younger generation's mindset is different from the baby boomers. The baby boomers of trucking that are coming out today, their mindset was different when they got into trucking versus the mindset of Generation Z that's getting into trucking now. So it's not just the pandemic, it's also the mindset of the younger generation. The baby boomers had Jimmy Hoffa. It was more organized back then. Now it is a free for all. So timing. So is this the right time? This is the right time for the right person. It may not be the right time for the other person. If I gave somebody a truck, they'll be able to operate at a much cheaper cost than somebody who, let's say, went out and, let's say, bought a truck for 60 grand. Or let's say somebody who's renting a truck from Penske for $1,500 a week. This person, the only thing they're covering is their insurance. They got to pay it off truck. So what the rate you may frown upon, they're willing to take and make money doing it. That camaraderie of hold the line, don't take cheap freight, those days are over with. Now, you can preach and do all you want, but guess what? You're never going to see that camaraderie of the Jimmy Hoffa days. We're going to use the Jimmy Hoffa days, you know what I'm saying? Because some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to make you go look it up. Like, oh, that's over with. That era, those guys that stood on that principle are retiring now. So let's talk. Those guys that stood on those principles are coming out now. You want to parallel generations, right? Let's parallel it. Let's parallel it with street gangs. When you had, or mobs, the mob. Let's say street gangs. Before they locked up all the leaders of the street gangs, there was some type of morals, there was some principles, there was some structure. Now that there ain't no leaders on the street gangs have evolved into chaos. Ain't no structure, ain't no leaders. You talk to any gang member in any gang right now, they're going to tell you the same thing. We don't have no leaders. They don't even have respect for the leaders who are still alive that's incarcerated. They'll tell you, if I ain't going to say no names, but they'll tell you if so-and-so get out, or if they let this person out, he try to come over here and control something, man, we going to, this our shit. He didn't build this. This is what they say about the people who are locked up that started these gangs. There's no structure. So same thing with the trucking. The structure of the boomers during that Jimmy Hoffa era, those principles are fading out because those figures from that generation are retiring. The younger generation doesn't hold those same principles. The younger generation is for self. So the sooner people adopt and adapt to the, and you know, you can agree or you can disagree. Okay. You can agree or you can disagree. But I'll tell you one thing. I analyze things. I talk to people. I talk to companies. I look at charts. I have access to information that a lot of you guys don't have access to. And I'm not saying in a like I'm better or more important to you. I just have more access. All right. I've been in the industry for a long time and I study it. It's always the right time to get in business as long as you have a plan. When you creating your plan to determine if it's the right time or not, or how you can enter and be successful. You know what? I can't enter at this cost. I have to figure out a way to get my cost right here at the current rates. The spot market is at right here right now. I need to enter at this cost. I know it's going to be hard to enter at this cost because I can't find anything this low. But if I enter right here, I'm not going to make it. But guess what? You still have a lot of cats that are going to enter right here and say they're going to work extremely hard and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And they don't have a plan. And what happens? They get in and they can't make it. And then they say the market is trash because they didn't do the due diligence. They didn't do what they were supposed to do within their business plan to understand that, you know, there's no way I'm going to be able to sustain a business if I enter at this cost. So is it the right time? You can always enter something at the right time as long as you do the knowledge. If you do the knowledge, you may determine that the right time may be 6 months from now. Or I may be able to enter right now if I enter here instead of here. Or you know what? It's the right time, just not for the market that I'm in. I need to go one state over. Or it's the right time, just not for the lane that I particularly wanted to get in. I can't enter into the lane at the cost where this is the cheapest that I can enter. I'm looking. This is the cheapest I can enter. But if I enter in the lane I want to enter in, I'm not going to be able to survive. But I can enter into this lane and make money in this market. Early adoption. Who's studying the market? Who's listening to Jerome Powell? Who's, you know, keeping close attention to, if possibly, when people are going to decide that they want to shift their buying behavior from services to goods? Who's determining that? Who's studying this stuff? Because the person that's studying this stuff is going to be the early adopter and is going to get the jump on everybody else who's playing in their ass. Same with the stock market. Same with the crypto market. I'm dollar cost averaging every single day. I have my wallet set to deduct money, a certain amount of money, 7 days a week, and distribute it into different assets every single day. I swear to God. It's called dollar cost averaging. So when the next bull cycle comes around, I don't have to worry about scrambling when it gets media attention that the market is up. The market is up because I've been dollar cost averaging it for the past 3 years in the bear market. So my bag is already built. Because I'm an early adopter. I've seen the cycles. I'm taking my microeconomics test now. That's what it is. Going through the process to sign. I seen somebody, and that's it. That's all I got to say. I'm gonna read through some of these chats, and I hope everybody, heard what I said. Didn't hear. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But like seriously, like it's your business. Like I always say, I don't have a horse in the race. I don't got a dog in the fight. That's your business. You do what you want, but a big part of you maybe why you struggling is because you don't have a plan. And the reason why I know a lot of people don't have a plan or they don't even know nothing is because I talk to them. And it's just getting to the point now when I talk to people, I get upset. I get upset because to me it's a waste of my time. That you can do what you want on your time. Don't waste my time. I don't care about the money. I don't. Keep it. Don't even book a session with me. That's how. Don't even book it. If you ain't got your stuff together, do not book with me to talk to me. Talk to me when you want to strategize. Don't book nothing that you can Google with me. I don't care. I don't want to talk. I'm going to hang up on you and refund your money. Straight up. I'm not going to sit there and just, yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what type of trucks are there? Oh, yeah. So there's a 26 foot. Well, what's the name of the 26 foot? Oh, you got an international or you got a freight liner. Like, don't come to me for that type of stuff. It's other people you can go to. They'll be happy to take your money for that ABC ticky tack 1, 2, 3 stuff. To me, it annoys me. It annoys me. You see what I'm saying? Because you can Google that. Who's going to sit up here and tell you, man, you can go Google that? That's how real I am. Don't waste your money. Stop being lazy. Go do the research. When you want to strategize and you want to get to the next level, or you can't figure out why you're operating at a loss, and you want somebody to look at your books and figure out, okay, this is where your problem is right here. That's where you come holler at me at. I don't want to do that. other stuff. I'm saying it in the most humblest, polite, nicest way. If you can Google it, go Google it. It's easy stuff you can Google. Why go spend your money? But then everybody got mad during the pandemic when people was charging you $800, $900, and $10 million to go do all this Googleable stuff. I can't really get mad at them now, but they want to do it. They want to take your money and take it with a smile and say, man, me, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. You see what I'm saying? I seen somebody earlier that said they got with T-Force. Hold on, let me see what that said. Let's talk about some good stuff now. What up, Mark? I started working at T-Force on Friday. I love it. Thanks again, Atlanta in the building. So another person that I pointed in the right direction. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. I'm glad it's working out. I'm glad you like it. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to point people in the right direction. I'm glad you like it, man. I'm glad you like it. All right, now let me see if there's any critics in here. Mark, Atlanta's in the house. Peace, spit that fire, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody that's watching on Facebook. Going through the process to sign up with T-Force now. I've been finding decent loads as of late, $2 to $3 a mile. That's good. That's good. I want to talk to you about Amazon, but I'll wait for tomorrow. Yeah, wait for tomorrow. We got QB on the show tomorrow. I thought I wanted to show it. Oh, let me pull it up. Let me pull this up. Do my little shameless plug. You dig? All right, how we blow it up? How we blow it up? Blow it up. Blow it up. Bam. All right, so I got QB. Me and Kurt got QB on the show tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to be asking him about Amazon. I'm going to ask him about Amazon because he does Amazon. I'm going to be, I guess it's going to, Kurt probably going to really, it ain't going to be a drill because he guest hosting. So it ain't like we're going to be drilling him. We're going to be asking him because he's hosting with us. So he's going to be answering questions, but it's going to be our opportunity to ask somebody that does Amazon. And we know he's critical. I watch all his videos. He's critical on Amazon. He has a love-hate relationship. But my only question, I'm going to save it for tomorrow. I want y'all to come and watch tomorrow. So, man, QB, and I like QB. Y'all know I like QB. I think he's up-and-coming. He's young, up-and-coming. And what I really like about QB is he's humble. And the one time he did come on the show, I told him something. I'm not going to tell you what I told him that he was doing, and I saw him change it. So he even listens to constructive criticism, and he takes that constructive criticism and he implemented what I said. So I look at all that stuff, and I think he got a bright future. And here's a person I think he's only 23, and even during the midst of everything that's going on, you talking about a guy that owns his truck. He owns his truck, and, he transitioned and pivoted to the point where he went to school to get his CDL. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to him. He'll be on the show tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to the show tomorrow. Now, after that show, we're going to take a week. We're not going to take a week off. The following week, we're not going to do the show on Monday. We're going to do it on Tuesday because I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be traveling back, so I'm going to be in the air on Monday trying to get back to Chicago. But we're going to do a show that Tuesday, so next week is going to be on Tuesday. But then the following week, we're going to have, I saw Cooley was in here early. I don't know if he's still in here. We're going to have Call Me Cooley on, and we're going to talk about semi-trucking. Now, this is something him and Kurt probably going to control most of this show because I don't do semi-trucking. I'm going to have a few questions, but this is probably going to be, mostly dialogue between Kirk and Cooley. I'm going to have general questions. We're going to talk about spot market trucking. So we're going to talk about the spot market. And I know his perspective on it. His perspective is similar to mine, but he a little bit more harsh than me, I think. You know what I'm saying? He tougher. He told me he do a 3-year non-compete clause. I've always did a 1 year. He does a 3-year non-compete clause. So if you work for him, you can't, and you leave, you can't go touch any company that he ran you through for 3 years. So if he ran you through a multitude of companies, You short. So he tough. We're gonna also talk about freight broker transparency, and we're gonna talk about truckers versus box truckers. We're gonna talk about truckers versus box truckers. That's something that um a lot of, you know, I don't know, a lot of people would just want to know. Like, it just seems like semi truck drivers just don't like box truckers. But we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna ask them, why is that? Why don't semi truck drivers like box truckers? But real intelligent brother, man, real intelligent brother, and that's what the Monday night show is gonna be about. We're gonna continue to do guest hosts. You know what I'm saying? When we can get guest hosts, if there's no, I ain't gonna say that. We're gonna get guest hosts. You know, we're gonna get guest hosts when we can get guest hosts, and we're gonna continue to um, try to, you know, build this box truck culture and push it in the right direction by giving correct information, whether you like it or whether you don't like it. You see what I'm saying? We're going to push it, and we're going to continue to push it, and we're going to make sure we get the right guests, and we're going to push the correct information. So make sure y'all check them out. But yeah, Don Beasy, we got QB in the building tomorrow. When is the best time to start? Up or down market? You can start in either market. That all depends on you. I started in a down market, and it was to my benefit, right? But the down market, as far as the economy was concerned at that time, was a great market for the moving industry and the storage industry. All right. Now, and that just goes back to, it says it all depends on the individual. It all depends on how you enter. You know what I'm saying? You could enter right now, right? And if you enter correctly, you may be able to still make some money. But if the market corrects itself, and let's say the rates do go up a little bit, right, in the future, let's say 2025, right? If you enter now and you can sustain and make yourself profitable now, if the market does go up, let's say in 2025, it's never going to go back to the way it was. But let's say it goes up 10% from where it's at now, right? You'll be in a great position in 2025 if you can figure out a way to get in now, profit, and sustain. You'll be in a great position in 2025, right? Because if the market does go up at 10% in 2025, the rates are going to go up. But guess what? The cost of entry is still going to be what it is now, or if not higher. Because as time goes on, things go up. I used this example before. Some of y'all are too young to remember. I'm old enough to remember when gas was under $1. I'm only 43. So when I say that to some of y'all might be like, damn, he old as dirt. Because it may seem so long ago, but no. In 1998, I was 18. I had a Chevy Lumina. I used to fill up for 79, 89 cents a gallon. All right. When gas went to $1, we was, oh my God, it's over $1. We didn't know what to do. In 2002, I bought a brand new Chevy Avalanche. I was 22 years old. The same Chevy Avalanche that in 2010, I started hustling the moving with. I bought that in 2002 when they first introduced it. They introduced the Cadillac Escalade ESV, the pickup truck one, which is what I wanted. And the Chevy Avalanche was a cheaper version of that, built on the same assembly line. I wanted the ESV. The ESV at that time was a mere $51,000. Now, $51,000 in today's time is to buy a vehicle is no money, but $51,000 in 2002 was a lot of money. $51,000 then was equivalent to $100,000 now for a vehicle. Couldn't afford the $51,000 at that time. I was 22. I was in college, and I worked at the Gap. I afforded the $33,000 Chevy Avalanche with cloth interior, no sunroof. That's what I got. All right. So, where? Damn, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with this story? God damn it. I lost my train of thought. So maybe it'll come back to me. Let me go to the next question. Maybe I think about it. 5-Star Logistics said I'm tweaking. What am I tweaking about? Come on, I need a critic or a detractor. Come on, 5-Star Logistics, what am I tweaking about? Or am I tweaking, or you saying somebody else tweaking? Or is it me tweaking? Come on, 5-Star, because you be real critical of me and Kirk sometimes. So what am I tweaking about? You said, yep, I remember when gas was under $1. Yeah, gas was under $1. So I was getting gas for under $1 in the late 90s, early 2000s. It went up. We was tripping. You know what I'm saying? But I remember now. So boom. So when gas went up to $1, we was tripping. We was tripping. I had just bought that Avalanche, and I remember how much gas was, because part of the deal for the salesman, I said, all right, man, I'm finna buy this car, but man, you got to fill up the tank. This is before they was filling up the tank. Some places probably don't fill up the tank, but when you get into the luxury vehicles, luxury dealerships gonna make you leave there with a full tank gas. You spending $100,000 on a car, they ain't gonna send you out there, boy. Whether you're buying it or leasing it, they ain't gonna send you out with nothing less than a full tank of gas. So I said, man, if I'm gonna buy this, man, you gotta fill the tank up. I bought it. He filled the tank up. We went to the gas station together. Gas was $1.40, and we was tripping. So this is the point of this story. We was like, man, we can't wait for it to go back under $1. The point was, it never went back under $1. I remember when it went to $2 and something. We was tripping. When President Obama came in, right before he got inaugurated, right after the election when he won, I remember it because he was from here. When he won that night, I think it was November 8th, 2008, the party was downtown Chicago, Grant Park. Right after he won, inauguration was in January of 2009, 2 months later. But right after he won, gas went down. It went back under $2, like right under $1. Right? But then when it went back up, it never went back under $2 again. Same thing with $3. And it just stood there. And it never went back down. So the point that I'm trying to make is, things happen and you want them to go back to where they were, but what happens is those rates become the new norm. So those fuel prices became the new norm. We haven't went back to under $1 gas. We haven't went back to the dollar gas. We haven't seen $2 and something. You could tell me $2.99. I know I ain't seen it. I ain't seen $3 in them. I can't remember. The point is, it becomes the new norm. So that's how people need to start looking at the rates. Like, complaining and all that other stuff ain't going to help nothing. You need to figure out a way to sustain in the current economy, because it may become the new norm. In 2025, right, using that example that I used, right, the cost of entry may be higher because things go up. So I'm saying that to say this. You can strategize on the perfect timing, but while you're waiting and strategizing and hoping things go down, things just remain the same or go up. And now you wasted time, and you could have got in at the right time and figured out how to sustain then. It's the same thing. I hate to keep using the same example. Let's talk about the stock market. You could watch a stock and say, you know what, I'm going to wait for this stock to go down and I'm going to buy in. But the stock may not go down. It may go up. So now when you could have bought it at $2 thinking it's going to go down to $1, now it's $4. Damn, I should have bought it at $2. Skip it. I'm going to wait for it to get back to $2. Then I'm going to buy it. It's at $4 now. Now it's at $6. But if you do the proper due diligence, you do the work, you create the business plan to figure out how to sustain in the current economy. It's like how I'm dollar cost averaging into the crypto market. If I can figure out a way to sustain in what's considered a bad economy, if the economy gets better, I'm in already a great position. If we're not at the bottom now, we're damn near close to it. You don't remember gas? Oh, I don't ever remember gas below $1, and I'm a year older than you. I also lived in New York. That's why you lived in New York. That's why. I live in Chicago. I live 20 minutes from Indiana. I grew up on the east side of Chicago. The east side of Chicago, where I lived, was 10 minutes from the Indiana border. I would drive over to Indiana and get gas for 89 cents a gallon. I don't have no reason to lie. You take what I'm saying? I don't got no reason to lie. I used to drive to the Indiana border, 10 minutes. We used to drive over there to get fireworks, and we drove over to get gas. And people that lived on the east side or close to the Indiana border, some people would drive to Indiana to go get cigarettes. People still do drive. My mama still drives. She drive a big old brand new Cadillac Escalade. She still live in that same house. She drives to Indiana to fill that big bad boy up. She don't get gas in the city of Chicago. She drives 10 minutes to the Indiana border to fill up because fuel over there just across the border is lower than it is in the city of Chicago. You're not listening, bro. You're not listening. We go to Indiana to get gas, bro. Depending on where you live at in the city, if you live on the east side or southeast side, the Indiana border is right there. Right by the Horseshoe Casino. Go over there, you get your gas. But gas was definitely under $1 in the late 90s. I used to fill up my Chevy Lumen for 89 cents, 99 cents a gallon. So, but let's see here. Let's see how much was fuel in Indiana in 1998. All right. 1998. Hold on, let's see. Oh. Bingo. All right. In December 1998, fuel in Indiana was on average was 73 cents a gallon for regular unleaded. Hold on, let me see something. 1998. Let me look at another website just so I can. Hold on. How much was gas in Indiana in 1998? In February 98 was 52 cents a gallon on average in Indiana. Yeah. Yep. Jimmy Chairman said, I remember that prices never went back down in California. I don't think it's going back to normal now. I don't think it is either. 1998 gas in Alabama was $1. That's what I'm saying. In 1998, gas in Chicago was $1. But in Indiana, it was like 89 cents, 79 cents. That's why we would drive over there to get gas. I remember getting a half a tank for like $5. Like I put $5 in my tank and get a half a tank of gas. So I don't know. New York is a different animal. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But Indiana still got cheaper gas. People go to Indiana from Chicago to get their cigarettes. People go to Indiana to get gas. People go to Indiana to gamble because they got the casinos. Gambling just became legal here. Grace Logistics in the building. He from the crib, and he could vouch for me. I ain't got no reason to lie. I definitely not tweaking, so you gonna have to take that tweaking off me. I ain't got no reason to lie about no gas. Something that I spent my money on. I ain't getting nothing from that. Detroit was like 89, 90 cents back then too. I know. I don't know, man. New York, everything high in New York. You should know that. Shit, y'all studio apartment out there, 4-5 grand. Come on now. Come on now, man. Come on now. Let me get back to these comments, man. You tweaking. Now you gotta get the tweaking for saying I'm tweaking. So now you finna get the tweaking. You tweaking. You getting another one. You tweaking. Being wrong. You tweaking. You in New York. Come on, buddy. Oh, see, you don't want to work for you. You tweaking. There you go. There you go. That's for 5-Star Logistics. He tweaking. Sean Allen, thank you for confirming my thought that if I get in correctly right now when the market is low and profit, I'll know how to really bank in a better market. Definitely. And if you can make it in an industry where a lot of people aren't making it, then you have a gift. I was talking to a guy on another channel earlier, on Kirk's channel earlier, who entered into the space OTR, shifted to local, I believe local final mile. His business analysis of how he wants to operate his business, he needs to be at a 25% profit margin in order to grow the business, right? To sustain and grow it. He exceeded that once he shifted his business model from OTR to local. He exceeded the 25%. My dialogue back and forth with him is because he's concerned on the overall totality of the owner operator and how the owner operator right now is operating their business off desperation. And I told him, you figured out something that a lot of people can't figure out. Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. Because you figured out something that a lot of people could not figure out. Duplicate what you've done, duplicate it as many times as you can. So yes, if you can make it in this economy, if things get better, you're already in the right position, because when things do get better, people are going to go to, here we come again. But the person who was the early adopter, right, who entered, right, who has that tenure, who's been sitting, who weathered that storm, is already in a good position now. They're in a great position. So, yeah, you're right. Joe Beetlecombe said he remember when gas was under $1. Let me see. I certainly appreciate your time, Mark. Keep doing what you are doing. With over 12K subscribers, your words are not falling on deaf ears. I have definitely gained knowledge in the industry watching you and Kurt. I appreciate that, Julio, man. I appreciate you, man. I'm going to just keep saying what I got to say, man, whether people, like it or not. I don't know. It is what it is. Mark Atlanta in the house. Peace with that fire. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook. All right, let me pick up where I left off. That we was talking about tomorrow. What's the best time? I got that one. Don Beasy, what's going on? Moving Company Hustle in the building. Hey, Moving Company Hustle, I watched a few of your shorts, man. Keep doing your thing. You actually did a short on an idea of a video that I was going to do, showing everything that you need on the back of the moving truck. So shout out to you. That was a dope short. Can't afford ignorance or chasing an emotion. I'm listening. That's what it is. Business plan is first step. It's not hard to set up. You know what? It's not hard to set up, but it can be time consuming. And to a person who's never set one up, it may be challenging. But here's the thing. If you want to be a business person, then guess what? You got to step it up. You got to step it up. If you was the person who didn't pay attention in class and all that stuff, that was fine then. But if you want to come into this world of business, you need to be sharp on your toes, especially now. Like what I'm saying now, as far as the mindset of the person that is into the space now versus the older generation that was in the space, it's more dog eat dog. It's more cutthroat now. That camaraderie, and I'm going to say it one more time, that camaraderie that you had during the boomers and my generation, Generation X, all right, that camaraderie doesn't exist anymore. That togetherness, that brotherhood of the Teamsters, local union 707 or whatever, all that they fought for and they stood for, those guys are dead, dying, or retiring. Let me repeat that. Those guys are dead, dying, or retiring. The younger generation, and here's the thing, we're gonna talk to QB about this tomorrow too, because we spoke on it briefly before. And shout out to all the Generation Z that's in the building. I appreciate it. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying, and all that. But at the end of the day, even he could attest to when I asked him, he said, yeah, our generation is lazy. They're lazy. They're more cutthroat. Less camaraderie. Like Freight Buster said on Kirk's channel, operating off desperation. So you all that preaching and stop taking the cheap rates is falling on deaf ears. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your time. Figure out how to maneuver in the industry for your business. I don't worry about what other people are doing because they're not gonna pay these lights. They're not gonna pay this gas. They're not gonna pay this mortgage. My property taxes are steady going up. They're not gonna give me a helping hand on these property taxes. All right. They're not gonna give me a helping hand on them. So it doesn't matter. What matters is what I got going on. Don't worry about what other people got going on. Figure out a way to maneuver and master in this market for yourself, man. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Shoot, you might find yourself undercutting somebody. You may get your costs down so low that you may become the person that people say, man, why you taking that cheap freight? Is it really cheap? It is what it is. I'm gonna continue to say that. People don't like when I say that, but it is what it is. Hey man, did nobody tell? I had this lady argue me to death. She swore she wanted her a new truck. I said, ma'am, don't get you. I gave her all the reasons why not to get a new truck. I'm getting me a new truck. She got her a new truck. Somebody please ask me what happened to her. Ask me how long she lasted. It don't matter because once people fall out the business, they don't watch the channel no more. They don't watch box trucking content no more. Once they out, they out. They don't care no more. We ain't heard from James no more. I told y'all what was going to happen to James. I said, James, the New York trip finna kill you. You're going to be done after this New York trip. And he was done. Y'all didn't hear from him no more, right? It's over with. He told y'all he was giving his truck back. Right? So she bought the truck. She bought a brand new truck. She didn't last not even 6 months. She didn't last 4 months. Couldn't afford it. She had to come back and tuck her tail and tell me I was right. I never told that story, but she told me I was right. Sure did. Didn't hear from her after that. Don't know if the truck became voluntary repo. I don't know if they came and got it. I don't know. But, Trucking made successful shows sonar charts every week. Okay, so they show the Freightway sonar charts. Okay. Hit that like button. Nick said hit that like button. All right, what else we got? How many likes we got? Okay, we got like BU Mark, we listening. Appreciate it. Shout out to Miss Wanda in the building. Moving company hustle. I'm seeing a lot of people downsizing into apartments again and moving into storage. Yeah, so that's a trend that we're seeing, moving company hustle. I've also been seeing a trend for the past 2 years now, because we haven't hit summer yet. A lot of people are moving themselves. My brother works. He's a corporate figure for U-Haul, and U-Haul's numbers last year. I actually talked about it in one of my earlier videos. They did $1 billion over LY, $1 billion. And just from me seeing, I see a lot more U-Hauls in areas that are prevalent on this time of the month. Obviously, today, big moving day. Tomorrow, big moving day. In areas of my city that are just, congested on peak moving days, I don't see a flurry of moving companies. I see a flurry of U-Haul trucks. A lot of people are moving themselves. There's also a new culture of moving parties. Like a lot of these yuppies, young urban professionals, they'll do a moving party. They'll invite a bunch of friends over. They'll order pizza, beer, and they'll all just grab pieces and socialize and move stuff and Instagram themselves and create a whole experience of it, because this is what the young generation does now. They make experience out of any and everything, even down to the moving. They'll rent a truck, they'll drink, they'll eat pizza, they'll take pictures, and they'll do it themselves versus paying moving company hustle 150 an hour, a mark 150 an hour, plus a $200 truck fee. They just do it themselves. So that's another trend that I've been seeing, moving company hustle. Let me know if you've been seeing that trend too, as far as the people renting trucks. James Hammond in the building. What's going on? Shout out to you and your son. Hey James, I'll actually be in Phoenix next weekend. I'm coming out there for 2 days. So I'll be staying at no, I can tell you. I'll tell you what. No, I ain't gonna tell you what. All right, James, if you wanna, I'll be out there. Remember, you said if I was ever in town, I'll let you know. I fly in Saturday afternoon. I got an itinerary for Saturday, so it's just gonna be straight to the hotel, changing, hitting the street. Think Sunday morning I got some time. But Sunday night is the actual reason I'm there, and then I fly out Monday night. That's why we're not doing the podcast that Monday. We're gonna do it that Tuesday. So I'll be in your market next weekend. So, or anybody else that's in Phoenix. I purchased 3 homes in 2009 for close to nothing. I wish I would have bought more. 2009 was a great opportunity for moving companies, storage facilities, and people who had cash on hand. Goes back to something I say all the time. I forgot that, MD. Thanks for reminding me. It was also a great time for investors. I got a homie who is rich now because he had cash on hand. But I got 2 homies that are rich now because they had cash on hand during that time. One is he ain't really a homie. He's just somebody I know. That's the one I tell y'all about who don't share information on real estate. He got the Rolls Royce Cullinan, the Rolls Royce Wraith, the Range Rover, a few other toys. So he got 2 Rolls Royces. He won't give you a lick of information. But he had cash on hand during the housing market crash. And here you could get a 2 flat. At those times, 2 flats. Actually, I got 3 buddies that bought in the property. 2 flats was going for 10 grand. 10, 20 grand. If you had cash on hand, you could buy them places on a short sale, 10 grand. Man, this dude was throwing 20 into each spot. 20, 30 into each spot. He had them people doing that work for dirt cheap. And he was Section 8 them out still to this day. So, if you had cash on hand back then those are the people who are wealthy in real estate today. Investors buy during collapses. Investors don't buy at market value. They buy when things collapse and go on sale. That's why I say now is the right time. Here we goes back to business timing. Now is the right time to save as much money as you can. All right, because we are going to have some type of bottoming. We're going to hit the bottom. The whole industry, the market is going to crash, and then that's when investors go buy for low prices. We call it a sale. You know what I'm saying? But only if you have cash on hand. So you got to know the cycle. The cycle is coming. Now it's the time to have cash on hand. We had a stock market and a crypto market crash when the pandemic hit. The rates went, the day they shut everything down, you just seen a straight line going down. Bitcoin was $3,000 in March 16th of 2020. $3,000. It went all the way down from like 9 to 3,000. Timing. That was the perfect timing to buy, right? Because it hit an all-time high of 69,000. Even though we're in a bear market now, I think I looked yesterday, it was at 29,000. So even if you would have bought, let's say you had $10,000 to play with, you would have bought 3 Bitcoins, you're looking at $60,000 right now. 9,000 right now would be 60. If you would have had those same 3 coins during all-time highs, you would have been looking at 210,000. 9 would have got you 210. Where on earth are you getting those types of returns? Right timing. If you would have had cash on hand and you had the knowledge, that would have been a great time to buy. 9,000 would have damn near got you $250,000 in the matter of a year, because it hit all-time high in February, I believe, of 2021. So 11 months, less than a year. In less than a year, you would have turned 9,000 into 210,000. Where on earth are you going to get those types of returns at? But people who have cash on hand, when markets collapse, when markets crash, they can buy in. And they can buy in bulk and sit patiently and wait for things to go back up, because corrections are healthy. We don't call them crashes, we call them corrections. They're healthy. That gives people who are smart, right, the opportunity to buy in at a low cost, ride their way back up, and sell at a high cost. And then we can talk about timing there, because you can't time a market. Nobody can time a market. And that's why I say, man, now may be the right time for somebody. Same thing with the stock market. You can't tell when it's to sell. You could buy something for $1 and say, well, when it gets to $100, I'm going to sell. It may not get to 100. It may get to 60 and come crashing down. You can't time the market. You can't time when you're going to hit all-time highs. Which is going back to what I'm saying. This may be the new norm. A lot of people are complaining and talking about, oh, well, we're going to wait till the market corrects. It may not. This may be the new norm. So while you're waiting and waiting and waiting, 2024 comes by and it's still the same. 2025 comes by and it's still the same. While you're waiting, everybody else has adapted. It's just like I said with the fuel. Once the fuel went up, people would say, man, it's got to go back to $1. It never went back. When it went up to $2, it never went back. It went up to $3, it's got to go back to $2. I can't, this gas is too high. It never went back. Now it's at $4. It's probably not going to go back to $3. We probably never see a $3 even. I'm not saying $3.99, but like a $3 even, we'll probably never see that again. And here's the thing about that. There's no reason to even push for it. There's no reason for the government to even push or lobby or create relationships or whatever they need to do to push gas back. Gas is probably going to go up. Why? Because they're pushing the EV initiative. They're pushing everybody to go electric anyway. So I can see them saying, you know, to hell with gas. Screw it. If it continues to go up, let it go up. That's going to drive people to get the EV anyway, because that's what we want them to do anyway. Like, man, y'all got to get with the program, man. You got to get with the program, man. You have to get with the program. You got to think like a business person. What would they do? What would the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds do? You got to put your head in their mind. So, man, it is what it is. It's not going to, probably won't go back. Like, to me, these look similar to prior to the pandemic. I'm just being honest with you. And I think a lot of people thinking go back to pandemic rates. I'm going to say this. I've been saying this ever since I came on YouTube. You're never going to see those rates again. The only time you're going to see those rates if we have another pandemic, but after the cluster F that happened during this pandemic, even if some new outbreak broke out tomorrow, they're not going to shut things down. They're not going to do it again. They did it that time. We could have a new thing tomorrow that's just killing people in droves. They're not going to resort to a full shutdown because they saw what it did to the economy. We're still recovering. And technically, I think what that did was create a new normal, even with the mindset of how people look at work. I was in line yesterday at this place called Stan's. They actually got them on the West Coast and they've come to Chicago. It's a donut and coffee shop. I think it's out of LA. A guy franchised one here in 2014 and has been doing good, and they've opened up multiple locations. Stan's Coffee and Donuts. They can make a really good glazed donut. I shouldn't be eating glazed donuts, but they make a great glazed donut. So anyway, I'm standing in line to get me 2 glazed donuts, and I'm listening to this one lady talk to this other lady. They're young, Generation Z, corporate, right? And she's talking about how her job is trying to get her to come back to the office. She said they're saying I have to be in the office at least 3 days a week. And that's a trend going on now. A lot of these corporations are forcing workers to come back to the office because productivity level. And she said, man, I'm not going back to work. If they make me, I'm like, what are they going to do? Can they just make us all come back? She's like, yeah, I mean, I mean, they can fire you. Well, they're just gonna have to fire me because my work life balance is very important to me, and I just don't have to. I don't see the reason why I need to go into the office 3 days a week. Now, remember, work week is 5 days. They want them to come in three, and she's saying her work life balance is important to her. This is not the mindset of my generation or the generations prior to my generation, we work hard. 5 days, shit. Can we come in Saturday? Can we come in Sunday? This new generation, they don't want to work at all. They saying, man, come in 3 days out the week. I'm standing behind them listening to this conversation. I'm about to hit the floor. She's saying, yo, I don't want to come in because my work-life balance is important to me. My work-life balance. I don't want to be stressed out. My work-life balance is important. Work-life balance. The mindset of people has shifted. It shifted. All right, man. I think I've talked enough. Gas prices lower under Trump. You know what? I don't think fuel is just going to be important no more because they're pushing EV anyway. So I see prices probably going back up. I could be wrong, but I just don't see an initiative to try to get them down. I just don't see it. I don't see why that would be on a priority list when they're trying to force you to go electric. And here's the thing. I got a Tesla, right? The infrastructure is not where it needs to be, at least not in my market. And I'm in the third largest city in the country, right? So if they're going to invest money into anything or prioritize anything, where I see the priority going to be right now is building a better infrastructure of charging stations, giving incentives to grocery stores, shopping malls, parking garages to install charging stations, because every day there's more and more Kia EV6s, Teslas, IQ3s, or whatever the Volvo one is called, i3s, i that, electric cars coming on the road, and it's the infrastructure for charging is not there. So me being a smart guy, thinking this thing through, what makes sense? You're pushing an initiative for EV. It makes more sense to invest time and resources into building the EV infrastructure, and the fuel is just going to become a thing in the past. And as it becomes, I really think once they neglect it, the price is probably just going to go up. Price is probably just going to go up. It's probably going to go up initially, and then once most of the country has converted over to EV, then you'll start to see the prices come down because the demand won't be there. But as more people go over to EV, once it gets like, let's say right now, I think 12% or 7% of the country is EV. Once it gets 50-50, I think that's when you're going to probably see unprecedented gas prices. Right? Because it's going to be a demand for those people that still have that 50% that still have cars. And I think there's going to be a neglect there because the government is going to be putting that priority in building the infrastructure for EV charging. But as EVs take over, and that as far as the majority of users in the U.S. and it becomes less and less gas combustible, then gas is just going to be for like antique novelty vehicles, and there's going to obviously be less gas stations, but because of there's not a high demand for it, you know what I'm saying? It could work both ways. Because there's not a high demand for it, the price could go up, but I think ultimately it'll probably simmer down. I just don't know how fuel stations would work, or like if there's definitely going to be fuel stations, but they're probably not going to be in the way you see a fuel station now. You may go to and I don't even know if they'll be able to do electric stations with maybe one pump of fuel. Is that like, can you even do that? Is that like against EPA regulations? I don't know. But I'm curious to see how things play out. Box trucks, semis, and cargo vans are all needed to move freight no matter how good or bad the market is. Know how much it costs your truck to move. Don't take less. That's basically what I'm saying. Know what you need to move. But guess what, Sean? Guess what? There's a lot of people that have extremely high costs, and their costs exceed the current spot market rates. So if your costs exceed the current spot market rates, and guess what? This is their prime source of income. My question to you is, what do they do? If their costs exceed current spot market rates, what does a person do in that position? Because I see people saying, man, don't move your truck. So what do those people need to do? I say get rid of your truck and maybe re-enter it another time. If you're paying for something where your costs exceed spot market rates, I say, exit and re-enter the correct way. Somebody said go get a job and pay for your truck and just let it sit there and just pay for it. That's not how I think as a business person. You know what I'm saying? If something is not making, anything is for sale in business. Anything can go. If it's not caught, and that's the mindset of a true businessman. I heard Master P said, man, all this stuff I got, if I need to sell all, if I lose everything, I got this Rolls Royce, I got this house, I got this, man, all this stuff can be sold and I'll be right back on tomorrow. If it's not making money, why hold on to it? Even if you got a note on it, if you're losing on it because you didn't structure your business correctly, why not restart the correct way? So my question is, what does a person do whose costs exceed the current spot market? That's what my question is to you. Because it's easy to say a person know their costs who have the luxury of parking their truck and letting it sit, but not everybody has that luxury. See, you have to look at it from all points of the equation. So when I get up here and talk, I have to look at things from every single aspect. Every single aspect. I can't speak from my point of view, right? Because it wouldn't be fair to somebody who just came into the space today or last year. I have to look at it from all aspects. There are people out there who enter whose costs exceed current spot market rates. So my question is, what do those people do? Anybody can answer that question. Anybody can answer, and then I'm gonna leave after that. I want somebody to answer me. What does a person do whose cost exceeds spot market rates? Anybody? Anybody can answer. What does an owner operator do? Lower their operating costs. Okay. Let's start there. Now let's say let's say hold on, Daniel Williams. Mark, do you have a merchant account? If so, who do you recommend? Use Stripe. If you're trying to move in company, use Stripe. Use Stripe. Their cost is similar to Square, 3.4%. 2.9 if you swipe. 3.4 plus 15. 3.4% plus 15 cent if you enter manually. And with Stripe, depending on how much business you do, volume, they offer your business line of credit if you need it on a tier base. So Stripe. All right. So let's start with Ray. You said lower their operating costs, right? All right, great. Now let's say it's a person who bought a truck, right? They bought a truck, let's say for $100,000 during the pandemic. They bought a new truck. Let's say they bought a used truck, $85,000. They got a 5 or 6 year note on it. How do you lower that? How do you lower something that you signed on to? So they've only been paying on it a year. They after they pay it off, it's going to be over 100,000. Let's say 105,000. They notice 2,900. How do you get from under that? How do you lower that? How do you lower a $2,900 a month note, a $3,000 a month note? Kim says run efficient, lowest gas, no hotels. Shaheem says keep the wheels rolling no matter what. As long as the wheels are turning, you earn it. Find a different lane. As long as the wheels are turning, you earn it. But here's what I say to that: your wheels could be turning and you're earning. You're just not earning enough to cover your cost. So that goes back to what the young man was saying earlier on the other channel that I was on Kirk's channel earlier, Freight Busters. That's a person who's operating out of desperation, because that's not, and that's what, like, he was speaking real educated, and I kind of like, he was speaking over people here. I try to speak to a point where people can comprehend it a little bit. When you, to me, operating like that is what he's saying, operating out of desperation. Because and I'm not trying to start nothing. I'm just being honest. To operate with that type of thought process. Let's say, man, as long as the wheels turn out, earning. Like, you can be earning, but if you need to earn, let's say, $5,000 a week, I'm just throwing a number out there, to at least break even, you could be earning and you're just making 2,500. So you're still not making enough. You're still operating a loss. That's operating out of desperation. And the reason why is because you don't have a plan. A person that's operating out of desperation doesn't have a plan. Change how they work, local to OTR, if they want their business to survive. That can work in some aspects. A lot of people have transitioned from OTR to local. But the point that I'm getting at is not everybody. The reality is not everybody is going to survive. All right, not everybody is going to survive. And what I want people to understand is entering into the space initially the correct way. Initially the correct way. Initially. And that's where the problem begins at. The problem starts with how people start their foundation. That's what I'm wholeheartedly preaching and standing on. Your foundation got to be right. All right, your foundation got to be right. Two, a lot of people don't want to transition. Y'all saying transition. A lot of people don't want to transition. A lot of people want that easy lane of OTR. They don't want to touch no freight. They don't want to lift nothing, and that's fine. But guess what? You decided to be a business owner, so guess what? You no longer, the business is dictating what it needs to do. The business wants to make money. The business don't care about what you want to do, don't want to do. The business is a greedy son of a bitch. Business don't care nothing about making money. It don't care about nothing. The business don't have no feelings. The business doesn't care that your baby is sick. The business doesn't care that your wife hasn't seen you in a week. The business doesn't care that your tummy hurts. The business doesn't care about that. The business wants to make money. Business wants to make money. The business doesn't want to make money and not see the money that it's making. The business wants to make money and grow. The business wants to see the money grow. The business wants to blossom. The business wants to flourish. The business wants to sustain. The business wants to grow. So it's about foundation. A lot of people ain't going to survive. It's just not, but it all starts it all depends on how you start your business. If you start your business the correct way, you will sustain. In your scenario, the owner operator is going to have to get out and start over. No, I think some people need to reassess their operating strategy. I think a lot of people that I talk to need to reassess, regroup, and start fresh. Listen, if what we're in is the new norm, and you're struggling and you refuse to pivot, if you refuse to pivot, like, you got two options. All right. You can keep waiting until ultimately you succumb, period. You're just going to succumb a month from now, 2 months from now, 2 weeks from now. Or you can pivot, right? Or you can reassess. If you're in a rental, you even got a better deal. You can get a rental back. You can reassess the situation and you can re-enter with a better plan, because initially you probably didn't have a plan to begin with. Rental rates have gone down since 2021, all right, and 2022. They're still high, but they're not as high as they were last year. You know what I'm saying? So if you're stuck somewhere and you call around and you find something better, man, you can switch. You should be actively calling around if you're in a rental truck every week to different companies anyway. Penske cold calls me all the time. I haven't ridden a truck for them since 2019. I was on a consultation when they called me. I put them on the speakerphone. The dude was damn near begging me to come get a truck. So now that's letting me know that, one, the hype is over with. Two, they have trucks. And three, once rental truck companies get to cold calling, that means business is slow. So now the leverage is on your side. You should be constantly and aggressively trying to renegotiate your rental truck contract. I'm telling you this. They don't want you to know this. They want you to think that oh, Ben G that was you, Ben G, right? That was you that was on the call. That was you. I was on the coaching session with him when they called, and I put it on speakerphone. So I'm not capping. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to tell you this. They're going to make it seem like business is booming and the rates of the industry, the rates are the rates. This is the industry. But I'm telling you, they cold call me all the time. And it's not what y'all think it is. To the new guy, they're going to try to finesse. To me, they're begging me to come get a truck. And Ben G will tell you the rates that they told me. So it ain't all peaches and cream in the rental truck game. You just need to know how to talk to these people when you call them, and you need to know what you're talking about. So, so Ben G was I was coaching Ben G. When they called, I put him on speakerphone. So, she stuck with me though. Spent first year OTR with wife and make a choice. I chose my business. I had to protect my investment. She stuck with me though. Hey, shout out to Kenneth, man. Shout out to Kenneth, man. He chose the business over his wife. Hey, man, a lot of y'all ain't finna do that. If you are not making enough money to cover expenses, then you have no room for the unexpected, like a breakdown, blown tire, all which can knock you out for good. Exactly. That's why I say, if you're operating at a loss, just exit and re-enter at another time. See, people re-enter with a better business plan or a business plan to begin with. See, this is the thing. People get scared of that word exit because they feel like a failure. Man, it's a lot of, man, you know how many great business people failed? You think trucking is the only thing? I failed at a lot of stuff. I told you I built 2 apps in 2019. Spent thousands and thousands of dollars. Thought I could build 2 apps, put them on the Google Play Store, put them on the App Store, and I thought that was my golden ticket. I thought I was going to be 100 gazillion billionaire. I was going to sell the apps. I was going to build them and sell them. I had no interest on operating and maintaining these apps for no longer than 5 years. I wanted to put them on the App Store and start aggressively shopping to sell them immediately. But guess what? Once I put them on the App Store, they just didn't get the traction that I was looking for. Putting an app on the App Store and putting an app on the Google Play Store is very expensive, right? Not initially, but to advertise and market those apps is what costs a lot of money. Outside of the development of the apps, marketing the app costs a lot of money. And I had a business plan. We had enough money to build the apps. We had enough money to launch the apps. And we had enough money to market the apps for 3 months. 3 months, because a lot of apps catch fire as soon as soon as you put them out, they kind of go viral. They have the right marketing. I didn't have the money at that point because we spent a lot of money in the development. So I didn't have the money to hire like a marketing team for social media to make it go viral. I tried to do it on my own. All right. And I had 3 months to do it. Point I'm trying to make is I had a plan. 3 months. Did I have more money to keep pushing it? Yeah. I could have kept going, but I wasn't going to drain my resources on something that I just didn't know if it was going to work. I gave myself 3 months to market it to see what would happen. And if 3 months we couldn't get it popping to the where we needed to get it popping to the point where it was going to sustain itself, we couldn't invest thousands of dollars into marketing these apps every month. So when the 3 month came and the results that I wanted, I didn't get, I had to shut it down. Both of them. Did I feel bad? No. I felt relieved because now I didn't have to spend all this money marketing those apps. It didn't work. Is that to say that I won't retry it again? No. But the strategy that I entered in, even though I had a business plan, it just didn't work. So, in this particular industry, if you're operating, if your costs exceed current spot market rates, then you're operating a loss. God forbid if something seriously happens, like he says, you're not gonna have the resources or the capital to come from under it. So, I'm humbly saying, man, you have to reassess, right? Re-strategize, create a business plan, and re-enter. So the 3 re's, you know what I'm saying? Jimmy says the only option is to refinance if possible for a person who has an inflated truck, bought a truck at an inflated rate, an inflated price. You could refinance. I'm not a big fan of refinancing vehicles. If I'm gonna be honest with you, man, if I enter ignorant into the market during the pandemic and entered the wrong way, bought an expensive truck, didn't know no better, all this stuff, and then learned, say found Mark or found Kirk later and then realized that I did absolutely everything absolutely wrong, me probably would just go in here and take the hit, right? I know I would have to personally guarantee that I probably just gave the truck back, took the hit, and just fixed my personal credit on the PG and started over again. I would have had to think like a businessman. I would think like they do. Big businessmen, they don't have no problem. When it went bankrupt, when they had to go bankrupt, we just gave the truck back, took the voluntary repo. When it gave it back, took the voluntary repo. The business would have been under. The business would have took a loss. It would have affected me on my personal credit because I personally guaranteed the truck, right? You would personally guaranteed the truck, and then I would have just got that removed from my personal credit and then just re-entered, created a new company, a new S Corp, a new LLC, and a year later or 8 months later, whenever I could get that mark removed and start fresh the correct way. That's what I would have did if I was in that situation. Ray said that's a lose-lose scenario. Jimmy says get out. That's what I say. I would just restructure. If your overhead is high, you will find yourself working for free and living in your truck, not by choice. That's how I say get out. So I just said James. I don't know. I hope James is doing good, man. But he's definitely out the box truck space. He said once he got back to New York, he was giving the truck back and he was going back to work. So he said he was going to save us some money and try to re-enter later this year, possibly with a cargo van. Mark doesn't give us names of the places where to apply, make that moolah. He's teaching the principles, the fundamentals of how to set up a good foundation to be able to be a businessman, businesswoman. Shout out to Ben. Ben was one of Ben had a coaching session with me. He was the one that when Penske called, um, and Ben was one of those people that I pointed in the right direction as far as the plan and everything. He was a person who wanted to scale, but I told him like, man, this time you're not ready. You need to figure out how to make this truck go and boom and profit, and then you duplicate that. So shout out to Ben for listening. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody who listens. I'm not gonna send you down the rabbit hole, as some people would say. I'm not gonna sell you on a dream because you have these high hopes and these aspirations. If you're not if you're not if you're not set up to scale yet, or you haven't profited yet in your first truck, I'm not the person that's going to tell you, yeah, what you're doing is right. No, I'm going to tell you what you're doing is wrong, and I'm going to tell you the right way to go about it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Ben, shout out to everybody else that has had coaching sessions and that have seen success. And yeah, Heavy good, Heavy Goodman. What up? What up, though? All right. So we talked about overhead. What time is it? 10. So I've been on 2 hours. Seems like I've been on longer than that. Easy doesn't last forever. Easy don't last forever. And to be honest with you, it never was easy ever. You know what I'm saying? I never remember easy. All I remember was hard. It gets greater later as far as uh comfortability, as far as financial comfortability. Once you figured out how to sustain and profit, if you wanna um scale back later on, or you have the budget, maybe you can hire a manager and give a manager a salary to operate your business for you, pay them 75, 80 grand or whatever. But that takes time. But I can't ever remember easy. I can't ever remember easy. Never. And I'm not speaking just from the physical aspect, the physical nature of the business, just in totality. Just There's nothing easy about it, you know what I'm saying? But I can tell you what can help relieve some stress. And there's going to be levels of stress when you're dealing with your business, but the stress of worrying about the economy and why you're not making money, you can kind of cure and curb some of that once again by having a plan. Having a plan, and eventually y'all gonna get tired of me saying this, but that's where I see the major issue is with a lot of people, and they just don't have a plan. Every day I see it, every day, every day, every day, every day, and it's just getting to the point where I'm just tired. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna start calling people out, and I'm gonna set a prerequisite of even on the show, even on the Monday show. Some people I know, when I talk to them in here that are here often, I know they know what they're doing, right? So they know that I'm not talking to them, right? But the people that come and they don't know what they're doing, who are guilty of a lot of stuff that we talk about, you know, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm not gonna be the guy because I'm not selling you anything. So I have nothing to do but to tell you the truth. You're not. I don't have to pacify you with what you want to hear, so that you can buy my $10,000 mentorship. I'm not pacify. I don't have to pacify you. I mean, I can't run them away because they this close to giving me that $5,000 deposit. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I have no dog in the fight, no horse in the race, no future financial gain from pacifying your thoughts. I'm gonna tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Call out that merchant account. I called it. I told you. You talking about merchant for credit card? I told you Stripe. That's what I use. Been using Stripe for about maybe 6 years, 6 or 7 years now. Stripe. If that's what you talking about, you talking about a credit card merchant account? By the way, do you recommend to grow with curbside final mile business instead of the final mile business, or what do you recommend? By the way, I'm seeing profits with my first truck. I think you can diversify. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? If you seeing profits now, I know you wasn't seeing profits when we went did the coaching, but I guess you're seeing profits now, like you're saying after we did the coaching 2 months ago. So now that you're seeing profits, I would try to the methods that I gave you to profit, take that, stack those profits, that cash flow for a little while, allow your business now, since you're in the green or in the black, so say to speak. Now that you're in the black, allow the business to scale the business. You can take your financial investment and take that out of it. The business is profitable now, so now the business should be able to sustain on its own, and the business should scale that. What I would do if I were you, you already have a proven model now. I would, when the time is right, I would duplicate that proven model before I go experiment into, even though it's a similar lane, right? And it requires one less person. If you can duplicate the current model, I would duplicate that first, and maybe on the third go around, maybe experiment. So now you have two vehicles that's working, that's profitable. Now, if you want to experiment on that third truck with curbside, then you can. Now you're getting into diversifying, and then on that third truck, I would even try to, if the logistics company that you're with don't have the opportunity for one man curbside, if they do, even still, if they do, I would try to go outside of that company to diversify my portfolio. So now that I have other stuff going on, because here's the thing, like I always say, you're only as good to the logistics company as they are to the retailer, because you're relying on them, but they're relying on the retailer. If they lose the account, you lose it. So you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket there either, because if the two trucks you're running, I forget who you're running for. Was it UST or no? You watch for Home Delivery Link, right? If you're running for HDL, right, and let's say they lose that contract for Costco that you running, because I believe you running Costco. If they lose that, you still got your one truck over here running T-Force Home Depot. So even though you just lost two trucks of revenue, you still got one truck that's making revenue versus losing three trucks and not having no revenue. So once you start adding onto your fleet, you do want to kind of start diversifying a little bit. You want to have two or three trucks here, maybe two or three trucks over there, a truck over here. You want to try to diversify as much as possible. Yeah, Stripe, bro. Stripe. Right here. I'm gonna show you. Well, damn, if I show you, I'm gonna show you access to Stripe. 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 Trying to show you the app without showing you all my income on it. Well, I guess there's no way for me to do it. Oh, well, I'm showing you how much we made today. All right, so we're not gonna show you that. We're gonna show you online. Hold on. Stripe. Right here. So you can just download that. You can use it from your desktop. The desktop, has more, than the mobile, but the mobile will allow you to accept credit cards manually, or swipe. You can accept Apple Pay. Uh, it has your dashboard. You can do refunds. And then after a certain amount of time, once your account is verified and you've done good business with them, you can cash yourself out for an extra percent if you can't wait on your money. So you can pay yourself every day. Other than that, if you do your transactions before 7 o'clock, that money will hit your account the next day. And then they do business lines of credit if you want. So if you do good business, they always offer like me business lines of credit. So it'll be on a tier. They'll be like, Mark, you can take 5,000. We'll give you five for 1,000. So we'll give you five, and you pay us back six. So we paying 1,000 for five, and each credit card transactions you do for that five will take 8% until it's paid back. So that'll be the first tier. Second tier might be 10. So for 10, we'll charge you 25. So we'll give you 10, you pay us back 12,500, and every credit card transaction you do, we'll take 10% until that 12,500 is paid back. And then tier 3 will be, let's say we'll give you 20,000 for 20%. The highest tier is usually 20%. It's somewhere between 18.9 to 20%. And then let's say we give you 20,000 and we're gonna give you 20,000 for five. So we giving you 20, you're gonna give us 25,000 back. And each credit card transaction you do, we're gonna take 20%. Now, after you do so many credit card transactions, ain't no flaw. You just do good business. You ain't got people disputing payments. You do good business. You'll see this offer. They'll start offering you stuff like this. And if you decide that you want to take one of these loans, let's say you take the 5,000, it's simple. They're gonna say, okay, you want to take these are your offers. Okay, boom, you select the 5,000. Boom, they're gonna take you to this next page. You do this all from the app. You're gonna read it. Celtic Banker, blah 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 blah. This is the thing. Do you agree? You agree. You check the box. You sign your name. Then in your dashboard, you'll see plus 5,000. This money will hit your account. It'll have the date. Usually it's the next date. If you do it like before 3 o'clock that same day, then shoot, the money will be in your account that same day. And then each credit card transaction you do, they'll pay it back. So it's not like even a loan that you have to physically pay back. Your future receivables is your collateral. So they're loaning you the money based off your future receivables, based off the money, the income that you've done in the past. Because since they're your merchant, they're processing your credit cards. They know your volume. They know the average amount of each sale. They see, what type of earnings you're doing. So they're basing how much they're willing to offer you off that. And that's your collateral. You have a business that's making money. So your future receivables is the collateral, and we'll take 8% off each future credit card sale until your debt, the loan is paid back, plus what we sold you the loan for. And it's a flat fixed rate. So which I think is cool. It's a flat fixed rate. So you borrow five, they say, okay, we're gonna give you five, and you're gonna pay us back six. You're paying $1,000 for five. So simple as that. Yeah, Square has those options. I used Square back in the day when they first was launched. Back like in 2012, I used Square. I used them for about 5 years, and then I switched over to Stripe. You said you was thinking of coming up here? Yeah, there's more opportunity up here. I know you downstate Illinois. But yeah, if you come up here, it's more opportunity, but it's more competition too. You can get the opportunity, but your competition is going to be a little bit more fierce up here. So MD says I have 3 different accounts with three trucks, which helps retain drivers because of the options. Right, you always want to diversify. MD got it. She got it. Yeah, it's no interest. Yeah, you could pass on along. I was just giving you all the options they have. Um, I like Stripe. You know what I'm saying? I like Stripe. It's still a private company too. You know what I'm saying? So I think they may be going public. Now that's a company that if they do go public, if you can't buy pre IPO, this is a company that after they IPO, I wouldn't do it. Initial opening offering day, I would wait. Because usually the price sinks because all the initial investors who bought in pre IPO they sell on IPO day. So it's gonna go down once it opens on to the public. Maybe like a week or two after that, once the dust has settled, I would invest in Stripe. I'm going to invest in Stripe as soon as it hits the public. About a week or two after that, I'm going to go ahead and buy a nice little bag and sit on it. I think Stripe, I've been with them for a minute now. Like a lot of the stuff they offer now, they wasn't even offering back when they propositioned me to come over to them. So I don't see their business going anywhere. I see them growing, and I see them being a competitor. Amazon uses them, Salesforce, Instacart. A lot of companies are using them. So, all right, guys, man, the room went down and it went back up. Hit that like button if you came in. Very informative live tonight. If you came in late, you might want to go watch the replay. I went on a little rant at the beginning, but then we got into some educational stuff, answered some questions, and that's what we do on Thursdays and Sunday nights. So tomorrow night we got QB in the building. Let me do them a little shameless plug on that. I'm really looking forward to speaking with this young man. Um, you know, about the box truck business, just getting his perspective on it. And also, talking about Amazon with him because he does Amazon. So, me and Kurt, we're gonna get down to what this Amazon thing is about. Let me share my screen. So this is tomorrow. We got QB, the Wiseman podcast with guest host QB. We're going to be talking about Amazon Relay load boards. We're going to be talking about YouTube and more. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. 2 weeks after that, we're going to have Call Me Cooley on. He's a semi-truck YouTuber. You can go follow his channel at Call Me Cooley. He does semi-trucks. That's going to be the week after this one because next week I'm going to be in Phoenix, which Monday's show is going to get pushed to Tuesday. We're not going to have a guest host next Tuesday, which is I believe is the 9th. Because Monday I won't be here. So we'll do it Tuesday. And then the following week after that, we're going to have Call Me Cooley on. We're going to be talking about semi trucks. We're going to be talking about the spot market, trucking. I'm going to let him explain to y'all about the spot market. Me and Kurt done told y'all. So we're going to let somebody from the semi truck come try to tell y'all. Freight broker transparency. This is something I want to talk about because we got people worrying about the freight brokers and the double brokering and all that stuff instead of focusing on the business that's in front of them. And I'm gonna tell you what the semi truck drivers say because I sat on his channel on his panel. They don't care because they say that's not their business. They feel like worrying about what the freight brokers is doing, that's dipping into their business. They like, man, as long as I'm getting, this is my number I need to be at. As long as I'm getting my number, whatever it is, then I don't care what they take. And this is the mindset of them, the trucker. You see what I'm saying? They mindset is different. And that's what me and Kurt be saying. Like, man, just whatever your number is, focus on your number and don't worry about like we're gonna talk. We're gonna let him tell y'all, and then we're gonna talk about trucker versus box trucker. That's what I'm gonna ask him because I want to know what the beef is between the truckers and the box truckers. Why don't the semi truckers like the box truckers? I asked them that when I was on his channel, and they gave me an answer, but I'm gonna let him answer it. I don't want to spoil it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of truckers don't like box truckers, but we're gonna get into that. And this is gonna be May 13th, so that's gonna be 2 weeks from now. And that's what we doing, man. Joe Gonzalez said he watched Cooley. Yeah, I like Cooley. QB went and got his CDL, but he hasn't gone. Cooley, I mean not Cooley. QB has a semi truck. I believe it was a older semi truck. Maybe his father had an older one or something. But I think he got to put some work into it. So right now, even though he has the CDL, he's just still focusing on the box truck. But we're gonna get into that tomorrow. We're gonna ask him the questions that he don't talk about on his channel. We're gonna really pick his brain. He's sitting up here between me and Kirk, man. So like that's like sitting up on like the Mount Rushmore, this box trucking thing, man. So, man, we don't want to make him nervous, man, because you got years of experience and he the new generation. So, he's a guest host, so he's one of us. So, but I just want to know about the Amazon. I want to know about the Amazon, and I just want to speak. I want him to speak from a youthful perspective as far as the new generation. I'm gonna ask a lot of questions about the new generation, their perception on how they look at the space, just to see if some of the stuff that I be saying um coincides with what he's gonna say when I ask him these questions. I'm really been looking forward to this tomorrow because like the younger generation, it just really like it intrigues me, and I just like to continue to keep up and know their mindset because it keeps me sharp, and it also um helps me put me in a position on how I need to figure out how to continue to navigate. You know, I need to know how to navigate, and whether what the young generation, if we can agree with what they do, disagree with what they do, or how they operate, at the end of the day, the youth set the trends. They set the trends, they set the standards. That conversation I was listening to, standing behind them ladies in the coffee shop, and that lady said she wasn't gonna go back. She would rather quit. She said, I'm gonna quit. If they make me come back to the office 3 days a week, I'm quitting. At the end of the day, the young generation set the trend. So, and if you want to stay up and you want to stay hip, you got to stay in tune. So I'm gonna see if what he said. I think I'm pretty knowledgeable on their mindset, but I'm gonna see if some of the information that he says when I ask him kind of coincides with my thought process. Now, when Cooley come on, that's gonna be led by Kirk pretty much because I ain't no semi truck guy. So you probably gonna see me quiet that show. Cause see, I don't talk about stuff I don't know, and I don't want to say something that sounds stupid. I'm gonna ask questions that I know, but that show probably gonna be led by Kirk. But I think it's important that we have a semi truck person come on and call me Cooley. He's very knowledgeable, and I'm excited to have him on as well, because I think it'll bring a different perspective to our viewers on the way box truckers look at the space versus how semi truckers look at the space. I know the difference. I see the difference, and I'm not trying to offend nobody, but the semi truck drivers, and this is not for everybody. If the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. The semi truck drivers take things a little bit more serious than the vast majority of box truckers. And I'm just being honest. If the shoe don't fit, don't put it on. If that doesn't pertain to you, if you take every aspect of your business to the fullest, the fullest degree, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm not talking to you. If you handle your business correctly from A to Z, I'm not talking to you. But the mass majority of people, in totality, the semi truck drivers are take care of business more better than a lot of box trucks. So it's gonna be good to have that. We're gonna talk from two different perspectives, and he's a straightforward guy like me and Kirk. So it ain't gonna be no beating around the bush and none of that. So I would love to come on your show and talk about what I know and possibly get some information to add on. MD, email me. Email me and we can put you on. We'll do a show themed around owner operators, depending on whatever field you're in, final mile, middle mile. So we'll maybe once a month we'll have an owner operator come on and just tell their story and their shortcomings, their shortcomings, their wins, their shortcomings, what they learned, their experience, backstory. So maybe we can do that maybe once a month. So email me at, I'm put my email in the chat, Mark at the mentor mark.com. I think you do Final Mile, right? If I'm not mistaken. But just email me. Let me know what lane you do. Give me a brief idea of what you're doing, so that way when we bring you on, we can theme the conversation around what you do. Also, send us an image. Send me an image of yourself that you will want put on the thumbnail, and whatever social media that you want us to add to the description. And then I'll talk it over with Kirk. We'll build out a show, based around you guest hosting, and I'll send the stuff to the graphic designer. We'll get the thumbnail and we'll start promoting it, and we'll give you the date, and we'll go from there. So yeah, I don't have no problem doing that. You're here pretty much every live, so I don't have no problem doing that, none whatsoever. So yeah, just go ahead and send me that, and we'll get you maybe sometime at the end of May or in June. Benji, I know you said you don't do mentorship, but if I get another consultation, would it be possible to get help and guidance on building a better business plan to diversify? Yeah. See, that type of stuff I'll do in a coaching session. But yeah, and that's if I still got the coaching session, man. After today, man, I'm thinking about not doing coaching sessions no more. Straight up. But after that coaching session, I got rid of the 15-minute coaching session. So ain't no more 15-minute. Ain't no more 15-minute. I raised the price on the 1 hour, and I raised the price on the half an hour. I'm trying to really drown out the BS. And, I guess I got to go up on the price. So I got to make the price higher to get rid of the BS. And I hate to do it, but man, this is what it's got to be. So I got rid of the 15-minute. 15-minute gone. That's gone. Ain't no more 15-minute. That's over with. That's over with. I had to get rid of that. That had to go. That 15-minute, that's gone. Ain't no more of that. So now it's just 30-minute or an hour. And you gotta be serious, man. Strategy only. Let me see. Amazon 26 footers are out in force. Something else I told y'all was coming. Don't nobody talk about that neither. It's like real quiet. Don't nobody want to. I put that video out. I put that information out. There was some pushback. I seen some chitter chatter about they're not going to do it, and they're not going to want to pay for the fuel, and Amazon is not going to want to pay once they get the insurance bill for those trucks. They're going to think again. This is the stuff I be talking about. The ignorance of some of the stuff I see. And I don't want to keep repeating it, but you see more and more of them Amazon trucks pulling up. I'm going to talk. That's something. Let me write that down. I need to write it down. All the stuff I want to talk about with QB tomorrow. Let me write that down. Amazon box trucks. Young generation. I was going to do all this tomorrow, but these are ideas right now that I need to write down. Young generation. Yeah, so, yeah. Some of the stuff that people think, like, they think that Amazon needs owner-operators. They did. At one point, they did. Not no more, though. They can actually... I don't think they're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? They're just going to... The low board is just not going to... They're not going to phase it out, but it's just going to be like how Flex is. You know what I'm saying? It'll just be overages. You know what I'm saying? But they're at a point now where, they can implement their own vehicles, DSP it out, let the DSP bring on board, and they can cut costs and make more money. But this is something I said was coming, and don't nobody want to talk about it, but we'll talk about it. This is just something else I just have to be right about. Sitting in between some lions, Talking about QB, yeah, man. So it's gonna be interesting, man. Tomorrow, man. No, I don't think he in here. Uh, hey, Mark, what are your qualifications to get on the show? So if you're not a YouTuber, um, I if you're a subscriber of mine, or Kirk's, one, I have to, you have to be active. You have to have active engagement. So if I see you a lot, I know who you are, and you want to come up, I have no problem bringing you on as a guest. So active engagement. Um, I don't care about your tenure if you're a subscriber, owner, operator. We'll just tailor the show based around you. So, if you've only been in the space for a year, we're not going to get up here and put you up here and embarrass you and speak over your head because we have more knowledge base to you and embarrass you. It's not what we're going to do. If you have a year and we allow you to come up, there'll be more of us interviewing you, asking you questions. Give us your backstory. How'd you come into the space? What do you think about it so far? What are your plans going towards the future? What, stuff like that. Now, I may be like, man, did you create a business plan? I'll call you out like that. You know what I'm saying? What's your business plan? Things like that. But, coming up here talking about like, you know, uh, market density and supply and demand and stuff like that. No, we're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna do that to a person who isn't as experienced as us. It just be basically like an interview. Tell us about your business. Why did you get into this business? What's your plans going in the future? How long do you plan on being in the business? What lane do you run? What size truck? Do you plan on scaling? Stuff like that. It'll just turn into an interview, and we'll go from there. I'll do the 1 hour like last time. Very grateful for your time, knowledge, and definitely serious and eager to learn from the best. I know you walk the walk, and I think you and I can build something. Yeah, man. Just whenever you're ready, just go ahead and schedule it, and I'll be there. I'll be there. Whenever you're ready. So, um, I remember when you said it, and I paid attention. You talking about Amazon, yeah. But see, here's the crazy thing: the people, and I'm not speaking to anybody in specific. It's not no YouTubers. I saw a lot of people in the comment sections that was just saying just silly things like about fuel and insurance and like, man, we talking about Amazon, and this is something that a lot of people who are just don't have the knowledge and business know understand. Like, one, Amazon doesn't care about insurance. Why? Because Amazon is self-insured. There's a lot of businesses that are self-insured. Once you become so big, you become self-insured. There's a lot of companies that are U-Haul. All those U-Haul trucks, U-Haul is self-insured. Amazon bought a plethora of insurance companies so that they can offer insurance to their workers and to their the DSPs to their workers at a discounted rate so that they can attract people to do the work. And as far as fuel is concerned, you're talking about a company that orders thousands of trucks at any given time. You think they can't afford fuel? Like, fuel is the least of their concern. Insurance is the least of their concern. Their number one concern is holding up the commitment that they started. They created this whole second day, same day delivery. Their number one goal is to keep that up and keep it going by any means necessary. So investing into their own infrastructure, investing into their own fleet of vehicles to provide better service and to meet those expectations is their number one priority. Not fuel. Not They don't have no problem spending money. They make money hand over fist. They make money hand over fist. They're saving money by implementing their own trucks. They don't have to worry about a owner operator complaining that the post office isn't open anymore. They don't have to worry about that. Why? Because guess what? They got a guy making $20 an hour driving it, and guess what? If the post office ain't open, he's sitting there for $20. So he sat there for 2 hours for $40, and he drove back. They're saving money. They're saving money. They're paying less money. They're saving money with this plan, with this system versus paying the owner operator. It's costing them more money with the owner operator. Even with the cut from the DSP, and that's including all the resources as far as the insurance, the PTO, the tuition reimbursement. They own all those companies. So insurance ain't no issue for them. They laying off people 40 going north, just like everybody else. They steady doing waves of layoffs. They know what to do. Their money ain't no issue to them. It ain't no issue. Most of those Amazon box trucks are natural gas. Exactly. It says it right on the side of it. Natural gas. Good point, 5-Star Logistics. You're right. It says it right on the side of the truck. Yep. Man, they ain't worried about that, man. I ain't worried about that. Hey, man, thank you. Also, I heard fuel and diesel will skyrocket after the hot fourth here in Illinois above, I think, $4, $5 mark. Yeah, it does every year in the summer. It goes up. Now, that's what the cycle does. It goes up every year because people travel during the summer, a lot of road trips. So every summer it goes up. They're also saying, I think Biden is supposed to be speaking with somebody because of the whole Russia thing, and that's something else they're concerned. That's on their priority list now about fuel, trying to not curve the summer spike. That's going to happen anyway because that always happens. But there's supposed to be another spike because of the whole Russia thing, as far as the resources, lack of resources or something. I don't know. So that's probably what you want to pay more attention to. The MMRO program, but you can just go on Indeed, and a lot of DSPs are hiring for the box trucks. Let me see if I can pull one of the ads up. Let me see, Amazon. Let me get rid of that. Amazon box truck. Let me see. Amazon DSP. Amazon overnight DSP. Where is it? Amazon box truck overnight. Is this it? These ads. So they got. Oh, where is that? Amazon box truck. Amazon box truck. It's called the MMRO program. Hold on, I'm trying to see if any job listing ads. Amazon. Middle mile. Let me see. Allow. Middle mile, Class C driver, Amazon DSP middle mile driver. Here's an opportunity. You will start at your same location, $21.75 an hour. Follow a map route, job description to Amazon world class DSPs or independent businesses. Yeah, it's just I'm looking for the one where it's just specifically uh the middleman overnight freight that's going to the post offices. Yeah. Yeah, so the more trucks come in that they ordered, the more opportunities the DSPs have to hire people to drive the trucks for them for hourly wages. You know, not to say that they're gonna fully get rid of the load board. I don't think they're gonna fully get rid of it, but the more they take off the load board to um to give to the DSPs, right? The less work is going to be, right? Which is going to be that scramble of owner operators who have all been relying on that Amazon relay load board. Now you're going to be fighting for less work. So you're going to have a lower supply, right? And a higher demand from those owner operators, which is going to also drive those rates down. So it is what it is. Where I'm at, they dropped our rates due to low volume, but we just got hit last week with 14 plus stops at around 190 miles per day. But I also found out that the 3PL added a new contract in a different city. Yeah, volume has been low all across the country. But what you're doing, you're in a low density area, Ben. So your volume is going to be lower than, let's say, if you were up here. you know you know you're down in Champaign. If you was up here in Chicago, it's a different story. Your volume is low down there. It's low everywhere, but because your area is low density, it's lower, and you got to travel farther because you got to cover that one warehouse that you're coming out of. Got to cover all those small towns up to a 200-mile radius. So it's a little bit different down there. You got to travel a little bit farther to get your stops done because of your area. But man, Chicago is just 2 hours from you. You want to really diversify and have more opportunity in a higher density area that's more compact. Your routes, your stops would be a little bit more condensed. Then you can come up here. Yeah, Jesse, they offering 401k, they offering benefits, tuition reimbursement, and this is after the first 30 days. So this is damn near coming in the door. Damn near coming in the door, they're offering this stuff. So, I said it last year. I did the video. I had the information before anybody had the information. That was the crazy thing. And I thought I was going to get pushback from other YouTubers. I didn't get the pushback from other YouTubers. And the reason why I didn't get pushback from other YouTubers, because I think the YouTubers that probably that saw the video, that if they didn't know about this, they went and asked people within the facilities about it. They confirmed it. And therefore I didn't get the pushback. Now, what concerns me is that why aren't other people talking about it that do YouTube, that do Amazon? Just let people know the information. The reason why I let people know the information is so that they know what's coming. Now, it was a lot of push. Some people push back. Some viewers push back. But ultimately, the viewers that are smart, they took that information. They took heed to it. They believed me once they saw it, because it was early, it was premature, but I had an inside source that put me on to that information. And now that people are seeing, damn, this stuff he was talking about in this video, I see it. It's coming to life. I see more and more of them trucks pulling up. Somebody even said, man, I actually talked to one of those guys and they told me, yeah, I get paid this. This is what we do. We do the same thing y'all do, except we work for a DSP and we get paid by the hour. So the people who listened to me that ran Amazon, they took heed and they said, look, this is coming. I need to start possibly planning a transition or an exit, because it's looking like that. The more trucks they add, the more I'm gonna have to fight for loads, because there's gonna be less loads on the board. So, it's about transitioning. That's all. MD said volume is high in her area. Could I get a guarantee up there? If you running final mile, yeah, you got a guarantee down there. You get a guarantee up here. You probably get a higher guarantee up here. But you know what? You might up here. You probably get a road. See, down there, you traveling further because your routes aren't condensed out there. Because you're covering all those little bitty towns. Probably Mount Vernon, Centralia, Peoria, Bloomington. You probably covering all that. Not Racine. What's that other town? Damn. Man, all them little towns down there. Champaign, Carbondale. You probably got to go to all those places. See, up here, you probably cover 1 or 2 zip codes. Your route might just cover 2 zip codes. Your whole route, once you get to your first stop, it may be so condensed that you may have 10, 12, 14 stops, and all in a less than a 10-mile radius. So up here is going to be a little bit different. Your stops are going to be a little bit more compact, but coming up here, what I'm going to tell you was going to be different from down there is your obstacles of making your deliveries is going to be different, especially if you get a route that's in the city. It's going to be different than what you're dealing with out there in the rural area. You're dealing with a lot of homes, probably got a lot of patio doors, less obstacles versus coming here in the inner city. You got stairs, you got apartment buildings, 2 third-floor apartment buildings, a lot of twisting, turning, angling, maneuvering, disassembling. A lot of these buildings were built in the early 1900s. So they weren't built in mind of the design of furniture today and appliances today. You had a standard top and bottom refrigerator back in the 1920s, right? Probably 20 cubic feet. Now you got French door refrigerators, 28 cubic feet, you know what I'm saying, that are huge. So it's a different story. All right, so what time is it? It's 11. I did 3 hours. Should have did 2. I think I'm going to go ahead and skedaddle. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow night for the Wiseman Show with me, Kurt, with special guest host QB. www.boxtruckcourses.com if you want to hit me for strategy only. I don't want to don't hit me for no easy stuff, because I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to talk about you, and we're going to end up arguing. And I'm letting you know now. Don't pay for no coaching session to ask me some stuff you could Google. I'm going to make fun of you on the coaching call. I'm letting you know now. Don't do it. Strategy only, strategy only, strategy only, strategy only. All right? You can get a guarantee. You'll get a guarantee. You'll get a guarantee. All right, so I'm out. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Make sure y'all tune in. Hit that like button on your way out. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Pippi for holding down the chat and moderating for me. I appreciate y'all. I'll be in Phoenix next weekend. If anybody want to meet the boy and have a drink with me, hit me up in the DM or send me an email. I'll let you know, because my hotel got a casino and all that stuff, so we could do a meet and greet there. Don't try to pull nothing either, because I'm going to have them steppers with me. I'm out.